What up, y'all? In this episode, we had Kendric Smith, a D1 college football player. We used to work together, and then we found out that we both went to high school in Killeen. We know a lot of the same people. Small world. And we knew people from my Muay Thai team, and yeah, it's crazy how connected we were without knowing each other, for real. But, it was an incredible conversation. He used to work with me. He left that job and now is starting his own business, D1 Expectations, where he helps college athletes get prepared for signing day, getting to that next level, but helping them not only from film perspective, but also from a mental perspective. We had a fantastic conversation. I really enjoy his perspective. I love his self-belief. That's that level of self-belief will get you further than just about anything else. So I thoroughly enjoy it, man. It was a great episode. I hope y'all enjoyed as well. As always, we got shirts. Shirts are for sale. We have shirts. We have smalls and mediums mostly, but we do have a few larges and extra larges left. So if you want one, let me know. They're $25. And as always, Real Salt or Relight electrolytes. You can use code Brodey for 15% off of checkout. Awesome, y'all. Enjoy the episode.
Let's do it, my guy.
Let's do it. All right, we're going to clap on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Woo! Let's go.
Let's fucking go. Kendric, my guy.
My guy.
It's been a long time, man.
It's been a long time, bro.
It's been a long time, dude. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you too, man, for sure, man.
I'm very excited.
Yeah.
As the people can see, you are swagged the fuck out right now in your own shit.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How does that feel?
It feels good. I think the first time I probably put some of my own gear on, it was really like, wow, like I did that, I did that. Then you just start adding pieces and your mind just starts going. And so that's probably where I'm at today, But when I first put it on, it kind of changed. It changed some things for me.
How so?
I would say when I originally just came up with D1 Expectation, it was a mindset. It's really about a mindset. That's something that carried me throughout my college experience and high school experience, was just really having the right mindset around it and just believing that you're really him on the inside, and proving that, and so when I put it on, it brought me back into that mode, like, oh yeah, like I was about ready to go play some football again or like do something, But yeah, I would say it gave me
ready
that.
To strap back up.
Yeah, I was going
pull the jersey out the closet for real though.
Yeah, blow a little dust off of it and get to it.
Hey, Bubba, do me a favor, turn him down just a little.
He's too deep in your ear.
He's blasting it. I love it. But just turn his mic down just a little for me.
He's 2, right?
He is 2. Yep. Shit, my bad. Yeah, dude, that's cool. You mentioned something there that we've talked about a few different times on the podcast, where the belief. You said you got to believe that you're him, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What came first? Because then you said you have to prove it, right? Because you do have to. You then have to actually do it.
Yeah.
Were you doing it first and then you built the belief system, or did you have that belief system and then you started to prove it to yourself?
I would say I had that belief system, and I'll say that because I remember when my senior year, my dad was coming to my practices, like throwing up the D1 sign, like, you know what I mean? That's the standard. Wasn't no pressure, but that was before I was ever. And that was my first year on varsity, so it wasn't like everybody knows you're going D1 Kendrick. They could probably say, I don't even know if they could see it, to be honest with you. But I think it was the belief, the mindset came before actually doing it, because it was faith. Faith is, faith without works is dead. Or being able to see it is, is there any faith in that? You already see it. I'm already the strongest man in the world. I don't need nobody to show me, right? And so I think for me, it was already believing that, whether it's silently, whether it's out loud, and then, putting the pieces together, and so I think that's kind of how the order went for me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it has to go. I don't know if it has to go that way, but I feel like, it does start with the belief.
Yeah.
We talk about, I feel like when people are trying to do their own thing, or they're doing their own thing, or they're building something, they're starting a company, like it starts with that belief.
Oh, yeah.
Because that belief is what's going to get you up the next day and get you to do everything you're supposed to do. Okay, I got to do this today. I got to do this today. I got to do this today. And that belief is what drives you to do that. And then as you continue to do those things consecutively, day after day after day, then you start to prove it. You're like, oh no, like I really can do this. This started off as a belief, but then you start to feel it slowly and slowly and slowly. And that's what it's, I imagine, sitting here in all gear, you got your hat, fucking the windbreaker on, the sweats on, you have the phone case, like just covered in it, dude. And I love it.
Yeah.
Because, that tells me that you're excited about it. A, you're excited about it. B, you believe in yourself and you believe in it. Otherwise, you wouldn't come all decked out in it.
Yeah.
Right? Like you would you'd kind of shy away from it. Maybe you come in just a hat.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is, and coming in the full suit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you really believe in what you're doing.
For sure. For sure.
So, so you played high school football, went on to play college ball.
Yeah.
Where'd you play college football at?
3 places. So I started out, I walked on to LSU. And then I went to Blinn Junior College, and then I went to Ohio University, the Bobcats, my alma mater there. Much love for the Bobcats.
Yeah.
Much love for the Bobcats. And so, 3 schools in 3 years.
Hell yeah, okay. What was that like?
A lot of adapting, a lot of new kid on the block, a lot of proving yourself, a lot of just, kind of wondering what, just wondering what the next step was going to look like. Well, the journey was quite the journey, I would say. I probably had different feelings at, LSU versus Blinn versus Ohio, right? And so Ohio is probably where I felt the happiest, felt like, this is where I want to be. This is what, all that work I put in was for. And so, yeah.
What was it about Ohio that was different than the other two?
I think walking on to LSU was cool. And I think people will say not a lot of people can do it, but I always felt like a scholarship guy. I always felt like, and being a walk-on, I didn't feel like the opportunity was there like it should have been. Mm-hmm. Whether you could see yourself becoming a starter 3 years down the line or not, I didn't feel like the opportunity was there. So I think, as a freshman, being in a big university like that, and you next to, Locker might be next to Patrick Peterson, Tyrann Mathieu, stuff like that. It could be overwhelming. It could be, real quick. And so, I would say LSU was probably overwhelming. Probably a bit overwhelming. Yeah.
And so, what do you think that did for you? Like, what do you think that did to you and for you?
It got me right. I always felt like I was pretty squared away. Like when I got out of high school, I always felt like, I used to go to class, make good grades, boom, boom. I think probably I always kind of laugh at this encounter. I remember we had Coach Moffitt was our head strength coach, and I don't know what I was thinking. I felt like I can go to I needed a new laptop. This was back in the Skype days, Skype and Uvu, and so I had this nice. It really came down to this fine girl that I do.
It always does.
I'm like, man, I got to get a laptop. Well, I already had a laptop, but somehow I convinced myself that the connection to the laptop, my connection wasn't strong because it was my laptop's fault. I don't know, freshman, just not even thinking. And so I'm like, I'm going to rush when Walmart, I'm going to go Walmart return this. When does Walmart customer, service open up? I'm going to go return this and do it like that. And then go to a workout. So I go to Walmart, return it, get my new laptop. I go to workout. I'm headed to workout, but I'm late. And this is like my first workout ever at LSU.
Ah, shit.
I come strolling in there. Oh my goodness! When I tell you, Coach Moffitt,
no urgency.
Like I was urgent, but I wasn't on time. So you're right.
Okay,
you're really
okay.
right. And I'm like, man, Coach Moffitt, like, he couldn't wait to yell at me. Get out of my way, bro. He was like, wait outside for me. He came in there. He came outside. Who do you think you are? I mean, bro, he went in on me so bad, bro, and he just said, get out. Just leave. I'm talking about I ain't even work out that day. I ain't even make up the workout. He just didn't even want to see me, bro. And I don't know what I was thinking. Even to this day, I don't know what I was thinking. And so when I say LSU got me right, it let me know it was not a game. You know, we don't play around like that here. You're a nobody. Like, who do you think you are? You know, and so I think that was the conversation I needed. But it was so funny because, yeah, bro, it was an eye opener. It's like one of those college eye opener stories. And Coach Moffitt, I'm sure. I think he's still a strength coach. I don't know. Last time I think he was Texas A&M, but I'm not sure. But beast, he don't play no games. He's intense. Very intense. You know, yeah, very intense, bro.
You know, that's what it takes.
Yeah.
That's what it takes, right? Because you are in a room with a bunch of super athletes.
Oh, yeah.
That are men of men.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, you're talking about some of the strongest, fastest, best, biggest, most confident dudes in the entire world. Outside of maybe like, you know, outside of like special forces guys. Like you're talking about alpha males, right?
Big time.
And we're seeing this a lot in the NFL.
Yeah.
You got a lot of these like soft ass dudes trying to coach grown ass men.
Yeah.
And I think that's where, you know, you start to see some of these guys getting in trouble.
Yeah.
Doing dumb shit. And it's because they're not being led by a coach mafia like that, right? Like someone who is demanding respect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the only type of people who are going to be able to play under that kind of coaching are people who can do what you did. Take a step back and be like, you could have easily been like, but I was late because of this, or why the hell he yell at me like that? This is my first day kind of thing, right? You could have got upset, or you could have blamed somebody else, or you could have blamed him, or you could have been mad at him, or been like, man, fuck that guy. There's so many different avenues that you could have went down of, right? But you're here like, I don't even know what the fuck I was thinking. Because immediately you took that and you were like, oh shit, nah, I did fuck up.
Yeah.
I fucked up. It wasn't his fault. He was right to yell at me, right? And I think people get this backwards. They think that we should be coddled and should be like, oh, hey, Kenny, it's okay, man. Why don't you come in and get that workout? Nah, right then you're just like, oh, I can walk all over this guy.
Exactly.
The standard wasn't set.
Yep.
And if he didn't set that standard that day, there's a chance that you would have been late to the workout tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because then you'd have been like, oh, okay, so I can just stroll in 5 minutes late and it's really not that big of a deal.
Right.
And I think people are scared to set that standard.
Yeah.
Whether it's the optics of it, whether someone's going to have a phone and record them. Yeah. Because that seems to be a thing, right? Now people fucking recording their coaches, yelling at them and shit. It's like, what are you doing? Dude? You're a grown-ass man.
You're fat.
You're a grown-ass man who's supposed to be there. Like you said, it's not a fucking game. Yeah. Right? It's why I largely only watch combat sports anymore. Yeah. Because it seems like I love team sports. I love football. But it seems like, again, it just, they're being coddled. Yeah. You know, you see these NFL receivers making these spectacular catches. And it's like, God damn, dude, the athleticism is way better than ever before. But then you see them drop a slant route and no one cares. Yeah. And it's like, that seems ass backwards to me. Yeah. It's cool. All right, cool. You caught this beautiful one-hand catch. You do a backflip. All right, that's cool. Yeah. But you just dropped a 3rd and 7 slant route that hit you in the hands. You know what I mean? Facts. You should fucking bench that motherfucker. I don't care who you are, how good you are, or like what spectacular catch you did for me yesterday. Yeah. But you just dropped a 3rd and 7 ball, and why is nobody upset? Right. At least that's been my that's been my experience watching football lately. It's just like, what are we doing? Yeah. What are we doing? And so, to your point, or back to your story, it's like, I feel like what he did was, some people are going to be like, oh, well, that's an asshole. You shouldn't coach like that. Nah, he set a standard. Facts. He set a standard. Yeah. Like you said, you were a freshman walk-on at LSU. Yeah. You know how many people want to be you right now? Right. And had he not set that standard, then anybody could have just been like, all right, I'll just be late. Yeah, facts. Fact. Yeah. And I think it takes a very mature you as a freshman in college to recognize that, oh no, that was on me. Yeah. And I can't do that. Yeah. Facts. And that just speaks to you. Yeah, bro. Right? Yeah. Set a standard for my whole college.
You know, like, oh, this is college. Welcome. You know, so I carried that. That conversation carried me my whole way through. I knew meetings, weight room, none of that was to be played with. Yeah. Be on time.
Yep.
Yeah, and still to this day, right? Still to this day, I'm very punctual. You know, I'm like, all right, I need to X, Y, Z. But yeah, bro, big time. Yeah, I needed that. More than I even thought I did at the time, you know. I thought I was squared away, but nah, welcome. I was more worried about getting my Skype set up for tonight, you know. Making sure my angles is right, you know what I mean?
I fucking love that, dude. Where do you think that came from for you, Kenny? Like, again, being a freshman in college, all fucking doped up on testosterone, you feeling all big and macho, and then that guy chews you out. And instead of being like, fuck that guy, you were like, shit, that was on me. Where do you think that came from for you?
That's a good question. Probably just the accountability. You know, I try to go back to how I thought about it right as it happened. I was trying to get out of there. You know, you just a freshman, like this is not a good look. Let me scram. You know what I mean? Which he told me to do anyway. So, you know. Like, let me, you know, and there was a window to the weight room when you walked into the facility. So, you know, it was a bunch of windows as you know, it was a kind of longer hallway. So, you know, I'm just kind of like, hopefully they'll forget about this come practice time, right? But you know, probably just my dad just kind of, you know, raising me right. The accountability, understanding there's a standard. I think my older brother helped me too. Like everywhere you go, there's rules. Everywhere, you know. I think even though you might be a freshman, you get that feeling of like I'm a grown man now. Wow, I don't. Mom, you had me in the house all day long. I'm outside now, you know. And I think that clash in your mind of grown man rules, grown man, you know. And so, but yeah, it just probably just what my dad instilled in me, and that's probably what really you know, allowed me to take accountability in that moment and realize like, oh, I won't be doing that again. I don't even like how I feel on the inside when you're yelling at me like that. Yeah. And so we're gonna try to avoid that, you know what I mean, from this day forward. And I had some more bumps, you know, ahead of me for sure, but it definitely wasn't that for sure.
Yeah, so. You were like, but I ain't late again.
Nah, I'm on time. I'm on time.
I ain't late again. We'll test the waters in something else, but I ain't gonna be late again.
Nah, I'm not gonna be late. Yeah. We had I remember Coach Les Miles. Somebody came late to Coach Les Miles was our coach at the time, and I could do a pretty good Coach Les Miles impression. But one of the guys came in late. He was like, "Hey, no, get out! You don't come in my meeting room late. Look, see ya." And when he said to see ya, like. I held on to that as long as I could. Hey, no, don't come in my meeting room late. Hey, matter of fact, see ya. So it was good seeing other people get chewed out and not myself, you know. Luckily, mine wasn't from the head coach. It was from the head strength coach, you know, still, you know, has some weight, but I don't think you want to be a freshman coming late to, you know, and your head coach got to get on you.
Especially Les Miles, dude.
Yeah, Les Miles.
That's a fucking, I mean.
He was a man. He was a man at that time.
That's, you know, what was that like?
Surreal. Like, I mean, I remember being on the practice field and just like, almost like, I'm really here. You know, we're all stretching and I'm like, I'm really out here with, you know, LSU right now. Yeah. You know, it was, and then like to see Coach Les Miles, you know, just the order of things. Okay, we go here first. All right, we got the team meeting. All right, just understanding the structure, right? And yeah, it was surreal. Like you go from seeing somebody on TV all the time to you right there. He's like where you are right now. I could say what's up, coach, or something. You know what I mean? It was surreal. It was different. It was definitely mind blowing. I would say for sure.
You're like shit.
Yeah.
So how's it going from a D1 powerhouse like LSU? That's not. You're not going to. I mean, I can't even think. You're going to the SEC.
Yeah.
LSU. And at that time, LSU was still LSU.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, they were up there. They were competing with Bama. They were competing with Auburn. Like, they were making runs, right? And then you go to Blinn, which is a JUCO college.
Yes, sir.
So you go from a D1 powerhouse, right? Where, again, you're a nobody. You're a freshman. And there are probably, like you said, you're Patrick Peterson.
Yeah.
You got all these people around you that are going into the NFL. They're superstars, right? And then you have to go, now you go from LSU to Blinn. What was the difference from going from that powerhouse to a JUCO?
Ooh. When you make that transition, you almost wish you would have never experienced the good life, you know, of the LSU. You know, there was hard work with LSU, but, you know, I mean,
the little things.
We went to the Cotton Bowl, and we beat, I'm glad you mentioned Alabama. We beat Alabama that year. That was Julio Jones, Mark Ingram's last year.
Oh, yeah.
That's the year Cam Newton won the national championship. So nobody was beating them. One of the best college players ever, if not the best in my eyes. But it was a big difference. It's almost like you know, it's like you're wiped off the radar. You know, it's almost like you go from everybody knowing where you're at to where's Kendric, you know? And it's depressing. I think the overall, it was very depressing. I wasn't happy.
How'd you balance that? I guess even further into that, it's like you're going from, you're this guy walking into Blinn. Mm-hmm. How did you mind how you walked through there, knowing you just came from LSU, right? Where you could maybe go in there and be like, oh, I know how shit's supposed to be ran. Right. Or like, y'all ain't running it like how you're supposed to be running it, because I was just there with a great fucking program, right? A team that continues year after year producing, right?
Yeah.
How did you balance that going to Blinn and still being able to, like, were you still able to take in things? Were you still able to learn things? Like, how did you manage that?
Yeah, I was able, you know, I was trying to make it, you know, that was to get back to that level. And yeah, it was a struggle in terms of, you know, also being humble enough to realize, like, hey, I'm just like you guys, you know what I mean? I just happen to have taken this path. I always like to think I was pretty coachable. You know, some coaches rub you a little bit better than some, you know, and so some you're like,
sure.
Every time he talk, he just get on my nerves. But you know, then there's some that just really have your best interest in. Yeah, I would say that. I would say it was, you know, I like to think I was still very humble, but I was motivated in a sense. Like, I was depressed, but motivated at the same time. I'm like, knowing that God was going to pull me out of that situation, I was still like, I was motivated, but I'm just like, man, I got it. I guess a good analogy for it was like college jail. It's like, like you're in jail right now. Like, this is where people go when they don't got their stuff together. You know, that's how I felt a little bit. You know, the locker room vibe was way different. You know.
Yeah. What was the coaching vibe like? Was there? Was there someone like that, Coach Mafia, that's like, hey, get your fucking shit together? Right. Like, were they still instilling that? Was it a little bit more laid back? Like, what was that like at Blinn?
It was less coaches. See, LSU, and it's funny because you like remind me of like some of the strength coaches because they had a bunch of strength coaches, and that's how I even learned how to live. So you had the head strength coach, but you had like a lot of graduate assistants, probably like 10 of them. Yep. So we all had the same guy we go and work out with. So they was able to watch your every rep, you know. And so much more hands-on, much more, we want to make sure all of our guys was lifting the right way. And that's how I really learned how to live. At Blinn, less coaches, so you got your head coach might also be the librarian, you know. Not really, but But he got his hands on a few more things. And so, they were kind of telling you to, you know, somewhat get your stuff together. But a lot of those athletes were known for not having their shit together. Talented as all get out. Of course. But then, you know, there's something that's not connecting. You know, if not, they will be already at their, you know, 4-year institution, you know, or something like that. Yeah. And so it wasn't as many, you know, eyes on you. You know, more eyes kind of make you, you know,
because there was an expectation that was set day one for you, right? Yeah. And then also, there's so many eyes that it's a lot harder to get away with something.
Yeah.
If you do start to slack, there's someone to be like, hey, Kenny, get that extra rep, right?
Yeah.
There's someone right there with you, right? Versus at Blinn, I feel like there probably was, I feel like, you know, I guess I'm picturing that you might have learned more at Blinn because there is less people on you. So now you have to really develop that self-discipline.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's not someone at every single turn. There's not a coach at every single station. Like there's not someone who is watching over you every step of the way.
Yeah.
You know, I imagine at LSU, they probably had nutritionists. They probably had people monitoring your food, you know, at least helping.
Oh, yeah,
you know, right?
Sure.
They have it's a full fucking program.
Oh, man.
Right? And then you're going to a place with a lower budget. They don't have the same amount of money. They don't have the same national recognition. And, yeah, I mean, what do you think you took away then? Like, what was the positive going to Blinn for you?
Just really knowing how to grind. You know, really understanding what God could do for me. You know, that was a big thing. Because there's no guarantees. You know, I mean, you know, the guy next to you is, you know, he might end up getting in trouble and, you know, ending up in prison. There's guys that, you know, I remember to this day that they're still in, you know, might be in prison or, you know, may have just made a mistake or something of that nature. I felt like it taught me to walk the straight and narrow a little bit too. You know, stay out of trouble, stay out the way. You know, because there's a lot of stuff you could get into at a junior college.
Especially right next to A&M.
Oh, right next to A&M. We had that. We being next to Prairie View, Houston.
Yep.
I could have slid down the Prairie View. A lot of our guys did that, and you know, we'll get into some things. And I think it just taught me how to be low key. You know, it was a year for me, and I stayed to myself. You know, I handled business that needed to be handled. I put on for the city. You know, so I think it taught me a lot, bro. It really taught me to have your faith in God, even when you can't see it. I don't know where I'm going. I actually didn't even play a single game at Blinn.
Really?
I was able to make it out of there with just practice, and that just kind of goes to show you where my mindset was. I brought it every day. You know, I'm beating you in practice. You don't even need to see it in the game. Like,
how was that? How'd you do that?
I was actually the sixth transfer, so it was so many rules. I know nowadays you walk into college, it looks like it's a free-for-all, right? But
they're fucking bouncing around now.
Yeah, you just, hey, I'm gonna go to my mom's college. I don't know, you know what I mean? I'm gonna just do it how I want to do it. So I was a sixth transfer. So going there, I mean, it was actually already practicing when I was signing up with the registration and all of that in the registrar's office. And so I was the sixth transfer. So if I'd actually played, they would have had to forfeit the whole season, basically. And so,
explain that. What is that then?
Yeah, so
what kind of transfer?
Only 5 transfers can come from other schools and play.
Got it. Okay. So did you transfer in season or is this between seasons?
This was between seasons. They just was only practicing like a week. So when I came to Blinn for the first time, they was already right there on the football field. I could see them. And so I'm already annoyed. Like,
and what led you to Blinn in the first place?
I think I called Tyler. I called a couple of JUCOs. Blinn was the most notable because Cam Newton
was just there. Yep.
Yeah, and I felt like I always wanted to prove myself against the best, you know. And I felt like they had the best talent in my head from what I knew of JUCOs.
I think that was at least the perception.
Yeah, absolutely.
For
sure. Excuse me. And so yeah, it was. So yeah, I didn't even play. I think it was one game I was actually. Coach was really looking into it because he really needed. The season started to get a little tougher. We had Trinity Valley, and I was actually they was trying to make me play fullback. I was going to be blocking. It was just a mindset that I had. I wanted to get out of there so bad. You could have put me at goddamn. You could have put me anywhere, bro, and I was going to find a way to make an impact. And so yeah, it just I didn't even have no games to look forward to. It was just practice and just getting better and just believing that God, you see me. Even if nobody else see me, you're gonna put me where I need to be. You know, and so yeah, bro. I would, and hopefully that answered your question because I'm like,
no, it does.
Yeah,
it does. Would you have
sure.
had that same hunger Would you have had that same hunger had it been the other way around? Had you went from Blinn then to LSU? Like, had you not gone to LSU first?
I don't know. I always feel like God does things. He orchestrates your life for a reason. I can't say definitively I would have.
Yeah.
I like to say, yeah, I would have. Man, put me anywhere, at any time, any place. It sounds great. But I would say, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think LSU allowed me to see it. And then I'm going against the best of the best. I'm coming to JUCO like, y'all are good and y'all are good, but you got to understand, I was just going against like some real deal grown, strong men. You know what I mean? And so it's hard to say. I think LSU gave me that hunger, like, nah, this is where I'm supposed to be.
You knew what you wanted to get back to.
Yeah.
And you also had that confidence knowing that you belonged. You practiced with those guys, right?
Yeah.
So you could see where, okay, maybe this guy was better in this regard. Or maybe there was things that people did that they were better than you in, and you're like, okay, now, but at least I have that measure, because you're like, okay, I'm standing next to guys who are going to be going to the NFL.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not that people from Blinn didn't go to the NFL. It's just that obviously on LSU you have a much higher chance. You're getting televised games. You're getting that visibility, right? Mm-hmm. And you have that name on you. I went to LSU, right? I mean, that's what people don't understand about the SEC, especially Bama. There was a year, I think it was Mark Ingram's last year, when they had 5 NFL running backs on the roster at the same fucking time.
Yeah.
I mean, Bama would joke about it all the time, like in the sense of like at practice, they were having harder games than some teams they were playing against. Because I mean, their second string was a starting 11 at any other program. I mean, there was years like just. I think it was. See if you can find that for me. I think it was. I think Mark Ingram, Derrick Henry.
Yeah, Derrick Henry. Who was Yeldon? Was it
Richardson? Trent Richardson.
Was it Yeldon?
Fuck, maybe. See if you can find it.
Kamara?
There's a picture. Was it? It might have been.
I think Kamara.
I think that might have been the 5. There's a picture of 5 Alabama running backs that were all on the team at the same time that all went to the NFL to be NFL starters.
Yeah.
You mean 4?
Huh?
Do you mean 4?
I thought there was 5.
Yeah.
I think there's.
Either 4 or 5.
I mean, those are the guys that. Oh, it was Eddie Lacy.
Eddie Lacy as well.
That's right. I think Kamara was Kamara one. Hold on, go back up though. That's a crazy picture. Scroll down real quick.
Crazy.
Scroll down real quick for me. There's a fucking picture. Derrick Henry right there.
Yeah,
that bottom left next to Mark Ingram. Dude, Mark Ingram's a grown man, dude. That's a big dude. Derrick. What the fuck? Oh no, wait, that's not David Harris. That's Najee Harris.
Man.
Or is that Derrick Henry?
No, that's Derrick Henry. Yeah,
the fuck is that?
Yeah, that's Derrick. Yep.
Why does that say Najee Harris? I don't know. Anyway.
Oh, they probably messed it up.
Anyway, and then that other one says Trent Richardson. They don't know who the fuck that is. Dude.
Yeah.
A bunch of white people posting that shit. Dude, nonetheless, big motherfuckers, dude.
Yeah.
Like I have to imagine that going to LSU first and then going to Blinn, like you said, obviously depressing. You're like, fuck, dude. I was at LSU. Now I'm here. I don't have the same kind of support, the same level of notability. But I feel like there's a lot of growth that comes from that.
Yeah.
Versus the other way around. And I mean, maybe not. I mean, maybe you go to Blinn first and you realize this is not where I want to be. I think there's also a lot of benefit in that as well. Going to Blinn first and being like, looking around, you see people start getting in trouble. You see people start sliding the wrong ways. And you see people, and you're like, no, this is not where I want to be either. Yeah. And that could develop that hunger too. But I think there is something, though, about going to LSU first, seeing all that, seeing how that program is ran, and then going to a smaller program being like, fuck.
Yeah.
This is definitely not where I want to be. And I know it's not where I want to be because I know what's on the other side, right?
Facts.
Versus kind of just fantasizing about the other side. You have been there, seen it both.
Yeah.
Right?
Facts.
And so you're at Blinn, didn't even play a game. You're at practice. How does that happen? How do you end up at Ohio?
Man. So so I also played in the springtime, right? So all you have is like really the spring game, and it was really just.
Hey, baby Logan, keep it down over there. Oh, what up, y'all? Hey, I need just a few seconds of your time. I apologize, I'm interrupting the conversation, but I need to talk to you about Redmond Relight. Dude, they're the best electrolytes I've tried. The flavor's fantastic. They actually have an actual serving of sodium in there that's going to replenish you after your hard workout. 820 milligrams of sodium. It's what you need after your workout. It's great first thing in the morning. That's how I personally use it. But nonetheless, as a What's Up Brodey listener, you can get 15% off by using code Brodey, or you can follow the link in the bio and follow that to checkout, and that'll also get you 15% off as well. Now back to the conversation.
And I think that was the biggest thing for me coming from LSU. My mindset was so different. It was so different because I feel like when you do go to JUCOs at first, that's all you know. So you could very much get complacent.
Get comfortable.
There's guys there that on their third year and then they about to go to their university. I'm like, you ain't tired of this? Like this? Like how did you do 3 years here? So I also played in the spring, and I was just putting film together. It's really just trusting God. When I couldn't say that enough. It was really just trusting God. Like, man, like you see me, working our best defensive end, and he's supposed to go to Tennessee, or he's supposed to go to Arkansas State. You see me working him, like I'm gonna do what is in my range of getting done. And I'm gonna leave the rest up to you. Like I'm not gonna come out here and slack and hope that God answers my prayer. I'm gonna come out here, put in the work, and I'm gonna let it work out. And it was one day in the springtime. It was, I might have already graduated, Blinn. I'm trying to like put the actual date on it, but I had sent out an email to Ohio. I always advocated for myself. I sent out an email. I let them know I'm at Blinn, boom, 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 and this is the situation. And man, when I tell you, and when God does something, He just does it a little different. When I tell you, like the coach happened to be in Houston at the time. And when I sent the coach, I remember sending it to Coach Haynes. He was the tight end coach at Ohio at the time. He let Coach Williams, which was the D-line coach, and that was in that area at the time, like, yeah, this is guy Blinn. He sent me his tape, whoop-de-whoop, and it was actually my high school tape. So we're talking about 2 years ago at this point. And so he's like, oh, I'm around there. I'm gonna go check him out. And I think the good thing about Ohio, they understood what JUCO was all about. They knew Blinn, they know Texas football, they understand all of that good stuff, right? And so it was like, yeah, I'm gonna go check them out. So when the coach got to Blinn, it happened, the right coach was in position, right? Coach Rocco, the actual coach that got me to Blinn in the first place, happened to be, in the office at the time. And when my coach got there, he started asking about me, and Coach Rocco was able to tell it better than anybody. He remember when I came, he understand what I was up against even when I was there. He was like, man, he would have definitely played here. I actually think he's even more of a defensive guy. He's very physical. I don't even know what he said, but I can only imagine because I had just talked to Coach Rocco probably a week ago. And I was, talking about walking on to like North Texas or something like that. And so he, I know he probably put in a good word for me. At that point, I had like some spring game footage that he was able to see. It wasn't much. It was like, okay, I could see it, boom, 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 I could see it. And it was word of mouth and a high school highlight tape. And so, and that started, that basically kicked off. I didn't get offered right on the spot. I had to go through like a process of, a coach trying to convince, the other coaches that they only had like one scholarship left. This is like late in the game. And so, and then trying to get me up there on a visit. So it all happened over the course of the next, I would say 3 weeks to a month, probably about 3 weeks, something like that. Yeah. And yeah, man, it's, it really started with an email and everything. When I say everything lining up, It really lined up.
Yeah. But you did that though.
Yeah.
You know, luck is when opportunity meets preparation.
Yeah. Yep.
Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, is the opportunity a little lucky? Sure.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But you gave Coach Rocco, you gave him no other no other way around it. He had to give you a good word.
Yeah.
Or give a good word about you because you did that.
Yeah.
You put that work in.
Yeah.
Right? You showed up. You did what you were supposed to do. And so he had no choice but to give you a good word, right?
Fact.
Assuming that he's a good person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And that was you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You did that shit.
Yeah.
The coach happened to be there. Sure. Right? There's luck in every success story.
Yeah. Fact.
Right? But all it is just that opportunity met your preparation, right?
Yeah.
Going through advocating for yourself, that's something that I can do fucking better at, right? That's probably the biggest thing that I struggle with. Like with that self-confidence portion, advocating for yourself, reaching out to brands, having that confidence, et cetera, et cetera. And then, you know, it's cool, dude, because it is a testament that hard work does pay off.
Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah.
One way or another.
Yeah.
In one way, right? Like, even if you don't end up going to Ohio, maybe you go to a smaller school, or maybe you have to stay at Blinn, but you get to play and you get to have a good college career, and then you leave that college, you leave that space a better person.
Yeah.
Because you know what you're capable of. You have that self-belief. You have that discipline. You have everything that football should instill as long as you allow it to.
Facts.
And then you just transfer that to everything.
Yeah, you do.
You just transfer that to your job, if that's where you end up going, or your own company, if that's what you end up doing, like you are now, right?
Yeah.
Everything is because of those steps that you took every single day.
Yeah.
You don't get to where you are today without putting in all that effort. And I think that's a very important thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's a very important thing because it's compounding interest.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you couldn't be where you are right now had you not done those things, made those sacrifices.
Yeah.
Tell your boys at Blinn, like, hey, nah, I'm gonna stay in tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah, man, it sounds like fun. Ooh, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But you knew you were on a path.
Yeah.
Right? How was that? Because I literally just posted a clip about this today.
Yeah.
The caption was, most sheep are just being herded by a wolf.
Yeah.
And so I could imagine at Blinn, there is that, like, there's a lot of peer pressure. There's a lot of, like, wanting to fit in with your teammates, wanting to have friends, right? It could get very comfortable, like you were saying, if you lose sight of where you're trying to go and realize that this is not where I'm trying to stay.
Facts.
Like, we can be teammates, but we don't got to be friends.
Yeah.
And if someone else is on this same path as me and you all want to be cool, then cool.
Right.
But most of y'all are going a different way.
Yeah.
And going down a path that I don't want to go down.
Facts.
And so what was that like for you, being that person that, you know, I would imagine you probably went against the grain than a lot of other people there.
Yeah.
Like you said, you've seen people probably very talented go a different path.
Yeah. Just confidence. I would say confidence in yourself. I think one big thing was my parents had got me an apartment off campus. Man, that probably really saved me.
Really? Why do you think so?
Because it was a lot of just more peer pressure on campus, right? You know, you go home, temptation. You got, all right, you know, hey, we're going to go do this. Hey, we know we ain't supposed to be doing that.
Instead of them being able to knock on your door, they had to shoot you a text.
Yeah, it was a big difference. They had to shoot me. Hey, we about to get into something. Hey, pull up if you can. You know what I mean? I'll pull up. You know what I mean? But you ain't just about to come knock on my door and all right, let me brush my teeth. I'll be right outside to see what y'all doing.
It was on your time. You had a little bit more control over that.
I had a little bit more control over that. That was probably one of the biggest blessings that I had. And I was my roommate was a dude I went to middle school with. So we went to middle school and I think high school as well. And then he moved away. So I was already so I had some familiarity, and so it wasn't just like I didn't know anybody, but I had my roommate, and so was able to kind of do that. But yeah, it's definitely peer pressure, because how Coach Feldman, which was our head coach, Coach Feldman at the time, he was getting rid of you. He didn't care. He wasn't trying to hear all of that. Like he was going to get rid of you. Yeah. You was caught smoking weed. You was caught doing anything. I think we had K2 going on at the time. Spice. People were trying to, avoid the drug test. If you was caught with any of that, it was going to be curtains for you. Yeah. And last chance you is really a last chance you. You don't get to go anywhere else, and then you go D1 or you go D2. You know what I mean?
Where else do you go from there?
Yeah, there's nowhere else you go. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So
that's good, dude.
Yeah.
That's, being off campus. That's funny. That's a good call out. Like, if you were on campus, they could just show up at your door. Yeah. Then they're all kind of like, come on, man. Come on, man. You know, like in your face. But instead, they had to shoot you a text. And you're like, and then you could make a choice. Yeah. All right, I'll pull up. Or, nah, not tonight.
Yeah. And then it was a lot of, I would say, and, always, I might see some of my guys, like, when I used to go out more out here in the city, I'll see, like, some guys. But I think another thing that helped, when I say it's like jail, like you're gonna get tried at junior college, and you could, you get tried at LSU, like those tougher locker rooms, things like that. I think that allowed me to avoid some peer pressure. They looked at me more as like a lion and not like, oh, I'm trying to fit in. I was never a fit in. Hey guys, where you going? You know what I mean? I wasn't Spike. Hey Spike, where you going? I was like, hey, I'm about to go do this. This is what I'm about to do. All right, I'll catch y'all. I was always my own man. And I think really the first problem I had, it was in practice. And, I just felt like Buddy just kind of really disrespected me. Like, it wasn't even like a football play. And I just flashed out. You know what I mean? Before I know it, I lost. It just happened so quick. And I think, from then on, I got much respect, mad respect. Like next day of practice, everybody dapping me up. All right, I'm talking about it's a dap line. You know what I mean?
Right, like,
that's all I was doing.
That's what we were just talking about, right? Like, with that like there's a standard. You set a standard that day. Yeah. Right? You set a standard like, hey,
we ain't doing that.
Your actions have responses, and these responses could be not great for you. Right? Yeah. I mean, we were just talking about that with just like jiu-jitsu or Muay Thai. It's that same common theme, because that's accountability. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And that is, unfortunately, as much as we would love for that to not be the case, that is how men and really humans in general learn the fastest. Yeah. Yeah. Physical repercussions.
Yeah, fact.
It just is what it is. That's how we're hardwired. Sorry. Like, that is human fucking nature. Yeah. And it's the reason why there's hierarchies in football. There's hierarchies in martial art gyms, because there's that accountability. Yeah. There's always going to be someone bigger, someone faster, some bigger dog, right? Bigger dog, for sure. For sure. Especially on a college football field, you got, you think, oh yeah, I'm 6'4", 220, and then Derrick Henry hits the field, and you're like, fuck. Yeah. What? Or a Tyron Smith. Yeah. You're like, what the fuck are you? Yeah. And it just puts you right back in your place. It's humbling. You're like, well, shit. Yeah. Nope, Tyron gonna fuck me up. Dude, I remember going to Killeen, man, and we had two linemen that ended up, one went to go play for
Scales? Scales? Yes. 6'8", right? 6'6",
one day he just came up and just picked me up. I was like, God, I wasn't a grown man at that point, but I was like, bro, I'm a grown boy, dude. Like, what are you doing? He just fucking, like, bruh, huge. Yeah. And it's just humbling, because you're like, nah, all right, cool. Yeah. There has to be mutual respect. Oh, yeah. And there's some people that only gain respect if you pop them in the mouth. Exactly.
It's the only way. I'm not naturally like that. You worked with me for years. I'm a jokester. So, and that's the problem in football, because, you got the guys that are always locked in, they looking at you. They start to think shit sweet. Yeah. And so when you get that switch on them, it's almost like it can play with their mental, because, I mean, like you said, you got like you was describing LSU, even, some other places, you got guys from like in Ohio, like Cleveland, Cincinnati, these are some very tough, areas to grow up in.
Yep.
And so they don't, all that laughing and joking, they got to see that other side of you, because if not, they just going to think you're a jokester. Yeah, then they're going to think, he played with me today, I'm going to make an example. No, it's no make an example out of me today. That's going to backfire on you. And so that was just the mindset I had. But I love to laugh and joke. That was part of my issue at times, just probably being, probably focusing a little bit more. I like to think you could do both. And I think you can, but it's just a fine line, I would say.
Sure. Yeah, there has to be a time to lock in.
Yeah,
it's time to be serious, right? It's like how you said when you walked into the weight room, you were late. You were like, oh, this shit ain't a game.
Yeah.
Right. It's something that I would preach. Coaching MMA. It's like, hey, this shit's not a game.
No.
Right.
No.
Like, we're cool. We're boys. We come in here. We have fun. This is fun. But you're about to send one of your boys into a cage where that door gets locked, and he's in there by himself, and another man who doesn't give a fuck about him is going to try to hurt him for real. Yeah. And I would tell people that, and I'm like, look, we're all cool with each other. It is your responsibility to try to beat the fuck out of him respectfully as boys, because he's going to go in there with somebody who doesn't give a fuck about him at all. Yeah. And that person's going to come at him with a certain level of aggression, a certain level of speed, a certain level of, I don't give a fuck about you. It's me or you. Because that's fighting. It's me or you. It's just the two of us locked in there. It doesn't matter who's in your fight camp. It doesn't matter what gym you go to. It's only the two of y'all. Yeah. And I would stress that so much. I'd be like, look, when we're sparring, if someone's in fight camp, it is your responsibility to try to hurt them respectfully. Yeah. Because they're about to get in there with somebody who ain't gonna do that, right? Facts. And to your point, it's like you're on this team. You got guys from Cleveland, Cincinnati. You got guys from Southside Houston, Chicago, whatever. Right? They grow up in a different kind of environment where shit wasn't sweet. No. There wasn't a lot of joking and playing. There was probably some tough times. There was probably a lot of scrapping. There was probably a lot of things that they were trying to get the fuck away from. Yeah. And then they see you on the team. You're kind of joking. You're having a good time, and they're like, "Nah." They're like, "Oh, no. This ain't a game. We are here to try to better ourselves, to try to get out of a situation that if I go back to, I'm probably gonna end up in prison. I'm gonna end up dead." Yeah. Like shit wasn't sweet, right? No. Like you said, and you had to be able to earn those guys' respect. Yeah. Right. And like you said, you like to have fun. And I think, fuck yeah. I think I think you can always do both. Yeah. Right. I would agree. But to your point, and to what we're saying is like, they didn't necessarily get to have that fun part. Like they were there on a dire mission to them. It was like life or death. Yeah. And so I could see how that kind of starts to, there's some friction there. And then you on the flip side, you have to prove to them that you also about that life. Yeah. And you're here for a reason too. Yeah. Just because you're joking and you're having some fun and you're enjoying life. Yeah. Understanding that maybe they came from a place where life just wasn't enjoyable at all. Right. None. Like they just wasn't fun. Yeah. Right. And I think that's important. And it goes back to like, that's just how we learn. Yeah. It's just how we learn. Words don't mean a lot of things. You need to see action. You need to see people do it, right? And so there's that aspect of it, and then the other aspect of it is real physical fucking consequences. Yeah. That's why people who know how to fight don't want to fight. Nah. They understand the consequences if the other person knows anything as well. Yeah. It's not going to be a fun day. No, it's not. Where neither of us are going to win. We're both going to hurt tomorrow morning, or one of us is going to fucking head's going to bash off of the cement. Yeah. And that's not good for no one. That's not good. No, it's not. Now one person's in jail for manslaughter and the other person is not here. Yeah. It's just not fucking worth it. But it's because we understand those consequences, because we have done those things in a place where it's relatively safe to do so. Yeah. Right? But we understand what those consequences could be if we did this in a position where it's not safe. Like we're not landing on a mat. We're not landing in a ring, right? Yeah. Or you're not on a football field with your boys and you go off on the wrong person in the street and then they're upset they got a gun or whatever. Right now we understand those, there's repercussions and vice versa. You taught that dude that day. Yeah. The opposite end of that lesson, right? Yeah, fact. There's potential repercussions for your words and your action. I say this all the time. There's always an action. Mm-hmm. That action leads to a reaction.
Yeah.
And the only thing that you're in control of is that action.
Yeah.
Not that reaction.
No.
And so if I can't control that reaction,
right,
you should be very particular about that initial action.
Fact.
Because you don't know what that reaction is going to be. Right?
Yeah,
like
fact.
that.
Yeah.
And, you know, and that, I think that ties back to everything that's going on right now. It's just like there's actions and there's a reaction.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you can only control one half of that.
Yeah.
So fucking control your actions.
Yeah.
And
facts.
make it worth it, or make the best choice you possibly can.
Yeah.
Because there's fucking crazy people, or there's people who will put you in your place.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not going to be fun, dude. Like, there's just not enough people who have gotten their ass whooped.
Yeah.
There just isn't enough people who have gotten their ass whooped.
Yeah.
Dude. Like, you know, it's funny because I talk about going back to Killeen.
Yeah.
And I'll tell people, I'm like, dude, it's kind of a breath of fresh air going back to Killeen sometimes.
Yeah.
Even in just Austin. Like, Austin's not that big, but after COVID, there's been a lot of implants. And the city's changed for better and worse. I think, you know, there's a lot more opportunity. There's more money circulating. That's all great. But there is definitely a different type of crowd in the city now.
Yeah.
A little bit more entitled. They came from some more money. Maybe they haven't gotten their fucking ass beat. Maybe they're not from Texas. Maybe they don't understand how we do around here.
Yeah, right.
And so they walk around a different way, you know, they bump into you, or they don't say excuse me, or it's not the same, right?
Manners.
And so sometimes going back to Killeen is a breath of fresh air, dude, because like it's like real humans there.
Yeah.
You know, it's either people who served in the military, they understand repercussions.
Yeah.
People that played football.
Yep.
Lots of people that played football. It's really the only thing that people did there, really.
Yeah.
And so they understand repercussions.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's different in the air. Like, people are much more respectful. People make eye contact. People give you the nod. People dap you up. Like, it's, people say, excuse me.
Yeah.
Like, there's a different kind of vibe in the air. And it's interesting how that happens because, you know, and I'll tell people that and they'll be like, what, you like going back there sometime? I'm like, I do. Mm-hmm. I do, because it's real people.
Yeah.
Does it have its flaws? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There was a point where Killeen was not a great spot.
Yeah, for sure.
Not a great spot. There was people who were trying to put their name on the map in a gang way. Yeah. And that is dangerous.
Yeah.
Like, there's gangs that people know of. Bloods, Crips, LA Kings, stuff like that.
Yep.
People already know of them. They don't have nothing to prove no more. Their gang is established.
Yeah.
Right? So they mostly deal with only other gang people.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Versus in Killeen, there was a moment there, dude, where they were trying to, like, build up a name for themselves. Yeah. And they were doing shit to people's grandmas. They were fucking with they were fucking with the civilians. And that's where it starts to get, you know, more dangerous, I think, right? Like, certain areas you're like, okay, I just know to not go down that way. All right, cool. But in Killeen, it was different at one point. There's so many people I know that parties getting shot up and
it's funny because that's what I was thinking. I was going to pivot to Killeen because we're very familiar. I always say, like, because I was mentioning some of those bigger cities, right? You got the Cleveland, you got some of the cities that people already know about. If you're from here, okay, you probably cut like this or cut like that. Yeah. Coming from outside of Texas or outside of Killeen and going to play football here, play football there, nobody's heard of Killeen.
Yeah.
They they don't know what it's like. And I never advocated like Killeen is the worst place to be. I give respect to wherever you're from. But Killeen ain't to be played with like that. I needed some older brothers coming up. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to get your issue if you're looking for it in Killeen. And you don't got to be looking for it, but it taught me a lot, you know? And so that's why I always like to say I put on for the city because a lot of people don't. Killeen, what's that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, if they weren't in the military, they probably don't know.
No, at all. No. At all.
It's interesting because that is most military bases or the city surrounding military bases, right? Like, I was born in Fort Bragg, Fayetteville.
Okay, yeah.
So, and then same thing with Aberdeen, Maryland. I don't remember the name of the military base now, but Aberdeen, same kind of area. Like, it's an interesting place to live. It's an interesting place to grow up, and like the people you meet, because you do meet all aspects of people, right? Mm-hmm. And I think Aberdeen Proving Grounds. Yes, it was. Yeah, and so like it's really it gave me a lot of perspective because you really start to realize that we're all just humans. Doesn't matter what you look like. Doesn't matter where you come from. You meet all aspects of people. You meet people who are going down the wrong path. You meet people who are just assholes.
Yeah.
You meet people who are doing great, or they're grinding, or they really are in a shitty position and they're trying really, really hard to get out of it, right? And you see all of these.
Yeah.
And then you also realize that it is a reflection of all shades.
Yeah.
It's all types of people that go in each and every one of those buckets.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Each and every one, dude. And then you really start to realize, nah, dude, we're just all humans, man.
Yeah, facts.
We're just all humans. It doesn't matter what they look like. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter who they are, where they were born. They have personal autonomy. They're going to be able to make their own choices.
Yep.
And they're going to fall into whatever bucket they end up falling in. And that is largely due to the choices that they made.
Yeah.
And it gives you a different perspective on people. You walk through and like, when you see people, you're like, oh, okay, this is a human.
Yep.
This is a human. This human has the opportunity to then show you who they are.
Yeah.
And then after that, you can be like, I fuck with this human, or I don't fuck with this human.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it just has made moving through life for me so much fucking easier.
Yeah, much easier.
The instant respect, right? Yeah. You pick up things about certain cultures. I always tell people in Killeen, I'm like, dude, all you gotta do, you make eye contact and nod. As long as people want to feel seen, they want to feel respected.
Yeah.
And so it's not that hard.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. Just treat everybody like a human, make eye contact with people, say what's up.
Yeah.
And that's why it is always just kind of a breath of fresh air going back there. But you're walking around HEB.
Yeah.
Everybody, people are just like, what's up?
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, what's up? Right. That doesn't happen here as often.
No, it doesn't.
And when you do talk to people either weird out or they get very fucking excited because you could tell they have all this built up energy.
Yeah.
I talked about this last episode. We were at the farmer's market last weekend. And it just seemed like everybody had this built up energy where they wanted to talk to people.
Yeah.
You could just kind of tell that they it was a crazy week on social media, and you could kind of tell there was this energy where people were like, dude, I just want to be in the real world. Yeah. Because shit's popping off. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm confused. X, Y, and Z. And there's just so many people who just come up to us and just talk. Like they just wanted some kind of interaction.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that because I think that's the only way we get through any of this shit is talking to your neighbors, being a member of your community, talking to people in your community, hearing them out. Why do you feel this way? Okay, what is it that makes you feel that way? What happened to you that made you go down that or think this way, or what it is? Or, really just trying to learn about people. Yeah. And the one thing that I thought was super interesting is the amount of people that apologize for talking to you. Like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bother you. Or I don't mean to bother you. I just want to ask about this, or I just want to ask about that. And it's kind of sad. Yeah. Because it's like, this is what we're supposed to do. We're social creatures. Right. Like, talk to me. Yeah. If you got something on you, if you like someone's shoes, or if you like something that somebody got on or whatever, just fucking quick compliment. Yeah, facts. Right? And if it turns into more of a conversation, cool. If it doesn't, just keep it fucking moving. Yeah. And we gotta get back to that, dude. Everyone's just looking past each other. Yeah. They're looking through each other. Right. They're looking like, oh, can I gain something here? Yeah. Can I not gain something here? And overlooking the fact that you're largely depressed, or you're largely upset, or you're largely sad because you're fucking lonely. You're lacking human connection. And not the kind of connection through your phone where you're just texting everybody. Yeah. No, like actual face-to-face conversation, sitting here, no distractions. I fucking love it. Yeah. Yeah, I think we do. I think we do lose sight of that, and that's something that I feel like I'm more aware of now. Like, I mean, and I'm thinking of like the grocery store, right? Or just in passing, right? Maybe if somebody asks me something, I'm like, or I might immediately think, oh, that's kind of dumb. Like, why are they talking to me? I check myself instantly. Like, it's an instant, like, no, this is what life is all about. Make sure you're carrying yourself in a way, responding in a way like the camera's on you. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's almost like as if the camera's on you. And so
I think that's something I've been more mindful of making sure that I'm not brushing the regular common interaction off, or I'm not thinking, got too much on my mind. I can't, hold the door for this person, or say, or sit there and chop it up with this person. They decided to talk to me. Why don't I give them a little something versus like, hey, I don't want to be bothered. Give them one response and you go back to doing what you're doing, right? I'm much more mindful of just making sure that, you're being a good human being, right? And you're whether someone's just being annoying or whether they just genuinely have a question, or maybe they think you're something special. You know what I mean? Yeah. Maybe they think that. And so that's one thing that I know that I like to be more mindful of these days, and make sure I'm treating people with the right respect. And, I always respectful, but just make sure you're, entertaining things more than you probably would if you just on go mode, and like,
maybe, and maybe even putting on a little bit of your sales hat again, and just maybe asking that follow-up question.
Yeah.
Maybe they did bring something up. You don't really care about it, but clearly they did.
Yeah.
Right. They did for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. Either they're just trying to make small talk, or maybe they're really interested in whatever it was that they were talking about. And even if you're not, maybe just asking that one extra question.
Right.
And just seeing what they say, and maybe they're fucking really passionate about it, and maybe you walk away and you're like, "Holy shit, I didn't know underwater basket weaving was that much fun." Like maybe you walk away from that conversation like, "Oh shit, dude, that was a really cool perspective. Thanks for taking that time. 5-10 minutes of your day, right?" And you also never know what that positive response will do to somebody.
Yeah.
Right. We're in a time where the country is so divided, where there are so many people who are just screaming at each other, and they're screaming at each other through other people's words, other people's posts. It's not even them themselves. They're not even expressing their actual opinion. They're just posting something that maybe resembles their opinion.
Yep.
They're not putting their face on it. They're not doing any of that, and you never know what just positively responding to some random person will do. Maybe they end up doing that more often. Mm-hmm. And then maybe they end up talking to the next person and the next person. And then maybe those conversations get a little bit better, a little bit deeper, a little bit more of a connection.
Yeah.
And then then they start to realize like, oh, man, this shit really isn't as bad as this whole social media thing is trying to make us believe.
Yeah.
And then maybe they start to look at things a little bit differently. Maybe they start to separate themselves from this team ideology.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, my team's the only one right, and if you're on the other team, fuck you.
Right.
And then maybe they start to separate themselves little by little and little by little, because they start to interact with more and more real fucking humans. Mm-hmm. And they have no idea who they voted for or what they believe in or who they are, but then they start to realize like, oh no, oh, that was really sweet of you. Oh, that was a nice thing for you to say. Oh, okay. Yeah. And then maybe they continue to talk to him, and then maybe they do find out that they voted for the opposite person.
Yeah.
Or maybe they are on the other team, or maybe they do lean that way.
Right.
But they humanized them first.
Yeah.
Now you're more willing to be like, why would you vote for that person?
Yeah.
Or why do you feel that way?
Yeah.
Because now we have established a humanization initially.
Right.
And so now we can actually have a real fucking conversation without thinking like, oh my God, this person is awful.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I had somebody reach out to me and ask me to take down their episode that was on my podcast, right? Oh. And so I realized that, okay, well, I'm going to need to come up with an agreement that people are going to have to start to sign, because we ain't going to do that again. And then secondly, I was like, man, Imagine thinking you have such a moral high ground over someone where you want to cleanse your past, where you want to you're like, I don't know how else to even word it other than like you're trying to cleanse yourself. Mm-hmm. All that tells me is you got some demons in the closet.
Right.
Because you're not comfortable enough with who you are.
Yeah.
Because it's like, for one, I've known you for a very long time. It's like, you want me to delete your name from my yearbook too, dog?
Yeah.
Like you're just gonna act like just none of it existed, none of it mattered, right? And it's interesting. It at first it did kind of hurt my feelings. I was like, damn, dude.
Yeah.
How do you know somebody for 16 years and then feel this strongly without ever having a conversation with them about it, right? Maybe it's something, maybe I posted on Instagram, or maybe it's I don't know, maybe I had a take on something. Maybe I didn't even fucking believe in that take. You didn't
Yeah.
even ask me or talk to me.
Yeah.
And just to feel that strongly about somebody, that's, to me, is, I think that's almost dehumanization, right? Like, how do you know somebody so well and so long and then think that suddenly they've shifted to be this terrible person just because they see the world maybe a little bit differently?
Right.
Maybe they don't even really see the world that differently. Maybe they just have a different take on this one subject.
Yeah.
And they probably agree on 80% of everything fucking else.
Yeah.
When the fuck did I need to agree 100% with anyone?
Yeah. Facts.
Ever.
Right. Facts.
That's not what makes us human.
No.
Like, I don't need to go down every single list of Kenny's checkbox and be like, okay, does he believe this? All of them. Last one, nope, fuck Kenny.
Yeah.
That's just a weird way to move through life.
Yeah, it is. And and I feel like people are so skeptical. They don't even let their experience with you be the leading the driving factor.
Nope.
You know, they find a way. You know, and you know what it is. A lot of people be in their own heads. You know, a lot of times they be in their own heads, and their minds be playing tricks on them.
That has to be it, right?
Yeah, it has to be.
You can't be secure with who you are as a human and think that you're a good person, but then do that.
Yeah.
But then ostracize people because they're on the other side or on the other half or like whatever, right? And who the fuck is picking a team anyways, dude?
Yeah.
Wake the fuck up. Wake the fuck up, dude. Like,
we so grown.
Why picking a team is silly in the first place.
Yeah.
Because that just means you have zero flexibility. You can't think outside of the box. You're just another fucking sheep.
Yeah.
You're just another sheep.
Yeah.
And sheep are how we got here.
Yeah.
We got to these situations because there was too many sheeps and not enough wolves.
Yeah. Fact.
And so now we're being led by very little amount of wolves compared to the amount of sheep.
Yeah.
There's 360 million people in this country, and we're led and we get fucking shafted by 200. I go House of Representatives by 1,000 people.
Yeah. Yeah.
360 million of us, and we allow 1,000 people to shaft us just because they keep us like this.
Yep.
And then you got people in the middle like, I don't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
They feel disfranchised, but really they're the only fucking sane ones.
Yep.
Because it's like, now you're looking around and you're like, y'all lost your fucking minds. Y'all have lost your goddamn mind too.
Yeah.
What the hell? Like,
right.
What am I doing?
Facts.
What am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
And so we only got to this position because we have too many fucking sheep and not enough wolves.
Yeah.
And that's why I really respect what you were saying about Blinn. Because you could have done what everybody else was doing.
Yeah.
You could have lost sight of that vision, even though you didn't know what was on the other side. You didn't know you were about to go to Ohio.
Right.
You never even knew you were about to get a scholarship ever again.
Nope.
But you put your faith in God.
Yeah.
You put the work in on top of that.
Yeah.
And then it worked out.
Yeah. Ain't that how life's supposed to go?
It is. Right?
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Have you always been very religious?
I would say somewhat. I would say I think that was part of, me being different to like, and because I feel like religious, because you have the religious versus spiritual debate, right? A lot of times, and a lot of people, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual, but there's a lot. That's just sheep talk. A lot of time, I'm
guilty of that.
Yeah, maybe they are, and maybe that is what they are, and maybe they ain't prayed in 2 years. I don't know, but there's many nights I forget to pray. So I would say, as a freshman, I was going to. He's a family member. I think it was my cousin I think he's my cousin, right? He had a church in Baton Rouge. He's very popular on social media, and I mean, it made it easy because I was an early bird. I think it started at 7. Then he had to go drive to New Orleans for his other church that he had. So it was like perfect for me. But one thing I noticed about Sundays, no cars were moving. There's no traffic. There's nothing. It's like a dead, it's not even a day that you would even have on your calendar. It's almost like people absolutely do nothing. And I felt like that was something that I noticed, very early on in my adulthood, being at LSU. And I would say, so I don't really consider myself just religious, but I'm gonna go to church. I'm gonna try to pray as much as I can, but there's times I went months without praying. There's time that God just held me up, and I didn't even talk to him, and so yeah, I would say that. I wouldn't say I'm like religious, but I'm not gonna say I'm spiritual. I would say, I'm somewhere in between, you know what I mean? Like, but I wouldn't say, oh, I'm just not one or the other. I wouldn't, to try to prove a point or anything like that. I'm just kind of who I am, I guess, in a way,
That's fair. You have your own relationship with it.
Yeah, for sure.
That's valid. When did that really I guess, again, has that always been kind of the case?
Yeah,
Was there a case where that relationship's gotten stronger? Was there were your parents super religious?
I would say so. I would say they kept us. I mean, we stayed in church. Oh my goodness, too much. I think that's one of the reasons my brother doesn't go now. But okay. I would say what God did for me at Blinn really it developed my relationship with him more, because a lot of times I felt like I used to lean on my parents. Maybe their relationship with God, all right, my parents praying for me. All right, this, I got a few more tokens in the hat, right? Like, we're gonna see how this goes. And at that point, when I was transitioning from or trying to get a scholarship outside of Blinn, even my mom and dad didn't even believe it. They'll probably argue with me down to this day. But I remember my mom saying, God don't even want you to have it. I remember her saying that to this day. And, I love you, Mom, if you, stumble across this. But that wasn't my mom disbelief, but that was God really pulling me closer to him. It don't matter who don't believe. Your daddy don't got to believe for me to do what I need to do. And so when he did what he did and allowed me to get out of Blinn with no game film, that really spoke more to me. And I feel like all the young people need that. They need to have that encounter with God, that he does something supernatural in their life that nobody else can do, and don't nobody else believe that it's going to get done, because that's how he works. He wants to flex a little bit sometimes, yeah, I do that, yeah, and so I would say that doesn't mean I started praying every day. No, but it gave me a baseline for what God could do in my life, and so, and sometimes you lose sight of it. Sometimes you should be pulling from those experiences that you had and be like, man, I already seen you do this. Man, we about to go do this.
What do you do that recenters you?
Probably reflecting on some of the past things that I've accomplished, or some things God has done for me. I don't think I do it enough, though. When you ask me that question, I'm like, I feel like I should have something a little bit more, just I should be able to just snap my fingers and be able to recenter myself with all the things that, I've been able to accomplish, right? But no, that's something I'm probably going to, probably focus a little bit more on, because, life is always going, you know what I mean? And life is always life, and like they say, right? And, it's quick to get off center, and before you know it, it's almost like you don't even have a baseline. Oh, you forgot what I did for you 5 years ago, 2 years ago? Yeah. Just last year, last week? Mm-hmm. And so yeah, that's a good question.
Well, because we get caught up.
Yeah.
We get caught up in the day-to-day, right?
Yeah.
And we have the fucking memory of a bird, dude. It's the short-term memory is so crazy, right? And that's the other end of that sheep story, is we have a world full of sheeps in a very short-term a very rapid the fuck am I trying to say, dude? Attention span.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
So both of those things together have led to very dangerous things, and because we just forget, right? And then it's back to my team, and it's like, dude, your team just did that last week. Remember that? And then this is happening now, and then that team is like, and it's like, whoa, hold on, y'all were just mad about that last week when the other team did it. You don't okay. Yeah. And so so you get to Ohio, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You left Blinn. You successfully made it back. D1, big school, big stadium. The lights are there.
Yeah.
How did you stay hungry? How did you keep on the mission?
That's a good question. It was tough because I actually had 3 years to play when I got to Ohio. So, normally you only have 2 when you go from but I redshirted at LSU, then did 1 year at Blinn. So I had 3 years of eligibility. So it was a great position to be in. And you could kind of almost get lost in those years. Like, I got time. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like these college players look now. They look like they got all the time in the world to make it to the league. We was on a strict 4-year and 1 type of deal. And so how do I stay hungry at Ohio? I would say pushing towards the league, pushing for the league was a reason that was it allowed me to stay hungry. But, I felt like my hunger at times fluctuated. I wish I could say I was just tenacious all the way through. And I think a lot of kids think they're going to go to their college, their, alma mater, soon to be alma mater one day, and it's going to be peaches and cream. That's when a lot of times you get tested the most, not necessarily by individuals, but just in life, because you're thinking, oh, I'm going to go to the league. I'm going to the league. I'm going to the league. Next thing you know, you're playing your last game, and so you're like, man, what happened? I just was 3 years. I just had 3 years to play. Now I'm on my last game, and the league ain't looking so hot. And
then is it that you realized you just didn't enjoy it enough, that you weren't present enough? Like, what do you mean by that?
I would say I enjoyed it, but sometimes when you start to realize, like, I might not have the resume to go to the league. Mm-hmm. I might have the skill set, but I don't have it on paper in the stat column to go to the league. I think is when it really starts to kind of set in. And when rejection is a different beast. A lot of people say, oh, only 1% make it. When you get rejected and they don't care about this or care about that, and they just go on to the next, and it's a revolving door every year. They got new guys, fresh talent, nobody's worried about you. And I think that's the biggest eye opener from that standpoint. And so I still had a lot of areas to grow in. I had areas to grow in as far as getting stronger when I got to Ohio. I think, I was pretty smart in the classroom, so that helped me out a lot. But how do I stay hungry? That's, I'm a big competitor. I would say this. Mm-hmm. So I know my junior year, it was a 6-way defensive end competition. I'm going to start. Like, I got to start. It's no other script that I'm accepting besides me starting on this team. And I think that's what really kept me hungry. Because our first game was Penn State. So ESPN. So that was my first college game that I played in, and so.
Was Saquon there?
Nah, we older.
We are.
We older than that.
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah, I know. That's how. Yeah, we're older than all the people we put up on Alabama. Yeah, they're younger. They're a little younger.
Crazy, huh?
Yeah, I know. Saquon probably got to Penn State.
You're good.
Saquon probably got to Penn State. If I had to guess, probably like 2015.
Damn, we graduated. Yeah, we're gone.
maybe 2014, maybe, bro.
Yeah.
But I think it was like 2015. Yeah, we were already. Yeah, I had graduated. You know what I mean? And
I graduated in 15. So.
Yeah. It just shows you, and that's what really used to get me. Like, you start to realize, damn, I'm older than all these people. Like, all of these young bucks now. And like, they all just doing their thing. And I used to be the young buck. It's really surreal when you're no longer the young guy. Even when I used to live out here in Austin, like when I first moved out here 10, almost 11 years ago.
2015 to 2017.
2015 to 2017? Yeah. See, spot on. But, like, it comes a day when you're not the youngest in the crew no more. You like, when did this happen? But back to your question, I would say just wanting to be out there on the field, wanting all my doubters to see me, under them lights. Wanting my doubters to see me starting on the team, a key contributor on the team. I would say that motivated me more than anything. And that's how I was able, because that year we actually beat Penn State. That was 2012. So I think September 1st, 2012, we beat Penn State. So that was big, beating just a bigger D1 than we were. And then that next year we played Louisville. So they had moved our game to Sunday. So we were the only game on Sunday. And once again, we're on ESPN. Who's not motivated by that? I can't wait. I'm so motivated. I had a high ankle sprain just a week ago, like 2 weeks ago. I came back in a week just so that I could get back on the field and start. Now, I didn't want to just play. I wanted to start because not only was I the best defensive end at the time and deserved to start, I didn't want no injury to stop, let my naysayers see me, on the sideline, with a boot or something like that. And, because they don't want to hear, I would be starting on this team right now if I was out there. Like, they want to see you, and so that was a big thing for me. I was very, I wanted the fans to see me. I wanted people from, old high school classmates, teammates to see me, on their TV screen.
Where'd that come from?
That's a good question, because I don't know. I don't know if it was, being young and watching college. College really seemed like the pros when I was younger. They're both on TV. I don't know. It was just, I was always competitive, though.
Did you have people like actually doubting you, or are we talking about figuratively?
Like figuratively.
Just like that was just that mind. That was the mindset.
Yeah, and I also think, it was a silent competition, though.
Yeah.
When you leave high school, it's like a silent competition of, what Buddy doing over there? Okay, he ain't doing better than me, though. You know what I mean? No, I'm playing over here. Where he at? Oh, okay. People used to even lie about, you probably remember, people used to even lie about where they went to school at.
Yeah.
That's all competition in your head. That's figuratively, you're in your own head at that point.
Yeah.
Nobody probably really even cares. And maybe they come think about you every blue moon and like, I wonder where he's at. He ain't hitting on nothing. I don't know. But, that was like a silent, in my head, it was like a silent competition. Like, all right, I'm going to be more successful than this guy, or I'm going to be, and the thing is it's not a diss, it's a competitive nature, because I was just thinking, you asked where that came from. I used to be, I grew up in Heather Glen and Killeen. I used to just be racing all the time. I wanted to race. Like, we met, hey, how you doing, man? What's up? Before I'm even asking you how old you are, I'm like, you want to race? Like, I was always so competitive, bro. Like, when you used to go to PE class and they used to say run around, take that lap around the, I guess they used to have like a little gate or whatever, and they used to all have it already mapped out, like take a lap. I gotta win. I got to win. And I lost sight of that at one point. And I found myself being a senior in college with one year left, and I tried to get that all back how I used to be, and it worked. It worked. I took that to my workouts. The coaches, at the time we had our defensive coordinator was Coach Burrow. So Joey Burrow was in high school. He was going to the local high school right there.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was very crazy. And so in the summertime, the coaches are not really supposed to be involved with you like that. You're not allowed those rules. You can't be out there working plays with you and none of that. Your strength coaches got you. So, I mean, I'm out here being first on all the sprints. We had so many 110s. Then we had a 220 or something we had to run. And I mean, I found that inner child that, hey, you want to race type Kendric. I found him, I basically pulled him from the past. And I started to, just really put more pressure on myself. And I remember the coach used to kind of watch a little bit, from like the stands or their little booth or whatever. And I remember the coaches used to tell me, hey, what you did out there was impressive. We just running 110s, bro. I ain't sacked the quarterback yet. I ain't do this and that. But he was just like, hey, that's impressive.
They saw the effort.
Yeah, they saw the effort. They saw the younger Kendrick.
But they also saw that you loved it.
Yeah.
You loved that shit, didn't you?
Yeah, I love being, reignited, how I used to be, and so.
So how do you, so how have you taken all of those things, all of those lessons, all of that energy, and now have applied it post-football?
Man, in a variety of ways. Some ways, some is unknowingly, and some is, I know this is attributed to what I've done in my past with sports. I know I started off at Dale, so I did 2 years at Dale, but I was still more in my playful mode. I thought everything was a joke until you get walked off your first job, right? Until you get walked off and they're like, yeah, your jokes are funny in the office, but we don't really care about all that. We want to see you, bring some revenue, things like that. I think after I realized that the real world was no joke and you will get walked off a job and they'll basically plot on you from the day you walk in, from the time you walk in that day to how we're going to get them up out of here today. And, I started taking things a lot more serious. I became a financial advisor at one point. And so I took my Series 7 and Series 66, one of the toughest tests that I ever took to date. And I think that was directly tied to a lot of the things that I have done before just in sports, just believing that, hey, God, you're going to get me to the end goal, or you're going to get me from point A to point B. And that was something that was really tough. So I took my Series 7, Series 66, like I said, the toughest test that I ever had to take. And so I think, that was directly tied into sports. And then also, working at, us being coworkers and being able to do that for 6.5 years, a month-to-month quota, I think that was nothing but a football grind almost in a sense. Like, every play, going to the next play, going to the next month, being able to perform consistently. There was things that I learned on that job that I probably wish I'd have learned years ago, and just, just keeping that performance, keeping it consistent. And so I think football really, really shined bright. It was a great job, it was a great job. All good things, have to come to end, unfortunately. But yeah, it was a great job. And I think transitioning from that to D1 expectation, I think that really, there's times in life where you get knocked down. And not even so much knocked down, but God has to transition you from here to here. And I think for me, I always, like figuratively speaking, never wanted, my doubters to see me fail, right? And so just, always thinking of the next thing, And so I just told myself one day, I was like, I just started making content. I'm like, I basically, put everything that I've done and compiled it together and said, I'm going to put this into my business. And, and as I was just going on my journey, I started just discovering which way I should pivot, which way I should go. Where does my expertise and the things that I've been through, where does that best serve the world or the market? And so yeah, I think that's where really D1 expectation became. That's where it was born. Based off of my experience, based off the mindset, based off of the grit and the determination. I like to think I'm one of the most determined people you can you can find. I like to think that, right? I think sometimes my story can show that, and so sometimes you get complacent though. And I think really always having that kind of that JUCO mindset, that man, that's why it probably was more depressing when I went through that, because of my mindset. Because I'm like, man, I got to get back on top as quickly as possible. I got to. It's no other way. I couldn't even believe it to be no other way. I think you got to have that unwavering faith, that relentlessness in your mind to not even see it go another way. Like I can't even, it's almost like you hopping in the cage, right? And you fighting your opponent. You almost got to believe like it's just no other way that this guy is going to beat me. Like it's no other way this guy is going to be able to defeat me. If it happens, it happens. But you almost got to have that mindset where nobody can shake it. And so I would say that's how football showed up. My experience in sports and just grinding from point A to point B. That's how I really seen it show up. After sports, which is going to come to an end one day. Whether you're 20, 30, 40, 50, it's going to come to an end. And but I really loved how I transitioned for the most part. There's some things I'm like, I probably could do that a little bit better, but I think for the most part, it had a lot of positives on just how I carry myself today, how I embrace challenges and things like that, for sure.
Yeah, you said something great there. It all comes to an end, right? Mm-hmm. People really, they make it their identity.
Yeah.
And that becomes dangerous. Mm-hmm. It becomes, in the moment, it can be really powerful.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're obsessed.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to be great at it. But on the flip side, there's going to be a moment where that ends. Mm-hmm. And you have to pivot. You have to pivot onto something else. Because otherwise, you're going to get lost. You're going to lose yourself. You're going to probably get extremely depressed because you've only known this thing for so long and you've made it a part of your identity. We talked about this with Lou Cameron, who was on here, who's wrestling, and he's getting a little older and his body's banged up, and it's like he's been, working behind the scenes, been working as a commentator, been working, learning how to write the storylines and things like that. And it's like he's someone who is thinking ahead.
Yeah.
Right? He still loves wrestling. Mm-hmm. He's still putting it all in there, but he's using a little bit of extra time in his day to learn other aspects. So that way, when his body does give and there's a day where he doesn't get to do this, at least not every night or every other night or, the schedule that he's on, he's going to be able to pivot.
Yeah.
He's still going to be able to be around wrestling because that's what he loves to do. Mm-hmm. And that's important. Because people lose themselves. And I think a lot of people do that in high school. Yeah. A lot of people have this thing that they fucking love.
Yeah.
Whether you're in the band, whether you're on the football field, whether you're playing soccer, basketball, whatever it is. Yeah. A lot of people love something in high school. Mm-hmm. And then being an adult kicks in. Not everything is a profession. Yeah. Not everything... Well, at least at that time, right? Nowadays, I feel like with AI and with YouTube and with anything, I feel like you can do whatever the fuck you want. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah. But at that moment, not everything transitioned over yet, right? Or at least not everybody had the vision of it transitioning over. Yeah. And I think that is where a lot of people get derailed. And I think that's where life starts to life.
Yeah.
And they lose that joy. Yeah. And that's where you start to get these very upset people, the people in the comments. Yeah. Right? You start to get these bitter people. Yeah. And it's because they didn't reinvent themselves. Yeah. They stopped in high school. They stopped loving things in high school. Then they went to college that they probably didn't enjoy because they probably didn't play college sports or they didn't do anything in college, right? I didn't play on a college football team or I didn't play college sports, but you best believe I was on every intramural football team. Yeah. Intramural soccer. I got a dodgeball shirt, dog. I won a dodgeball tournament. Like it didn't fucking matter. Yeah. I was gonna do something still. Yeah. And enjoy it and have fun. Because going to class is boring. Nobody actually wants to do that. Like some people do enjoy it, right? Yeah. And I had classes that you enjoy, but the overall process of it, you don't fucking enjoy it. Yeah. You don't want to be in class all goddamn day. Like nobody wants that, right? Yeah. And so you have to find ways to still enjoy it. Right. And constantly reinvent yourself and try new things and put yourself out there. And I think a lot of people stop at high school.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They don't
Big time.
find that next thing that they love. They're not trying something new. They're scared to try something new. It could be anything, dude. Go to a pottery class. Like, it doesn't matter. Just do something for you.
Yeah. I think that's good. I always had a problem with that. People making things their identity. Now this is not all God put you on this earth for.
Yeah.
Like,
this is just a chapter.
Yeah, they take their job so serious. You should, but I mean, that was one thing I was saying when I first got to WP Engine, and there was some, people that got there maybe a month or two after me. I just knew my experience in the corporate world, and don't take this, understand that, if you do something wrong, it's,
you're a cog.
Yeah.
Understand that it is important for your self-development and yourself to be good at your job.
Yeah.
But at the same time, understand what it is and what you're doing, and understand that any moment that can go away.
Yeah, facts.
Right? And be able to then, again, pivot, right? And I think that's what you've done so beautifully. You continue to go, right?
Yeah.
You leave college, the league doesn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go, you work your job at Dell. Then you go, financial advisor. And then, on to the next, and then on to the next. And you've constantly just reinvented yourself. You continue to put yourself out there. And I think that's what leads to fucking true happiness. Because even at the end of the day, after all this, nothing comes of it.
Yeah.
Right? Kendric Smith is not all over the billboards. Kendric Smith is not a multi-billionaire.
Right.
You're just a normal ass dude.
Mm-hmm.
But you're gonna get to that end of that road, and you're gonna be proud of it.
Mm-hmm.
At the bare minimum, you're gonna fucking have fun.
Yeah.
And you sure as hell is gonna be enjoyable.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be a person nobody wants to be around.
Right.
You're not ending your life lonely. Mm-hmm. You're not being bitter. You're not putting down other people around you. No, you're gonna be uplifting. You're gonna be trying to help people all the way to the very end, regardless of the outcome.
Right.
And I think that's a beautiful thing. And I think that comes from your ability to then constantly reinvent yourself, constantly try new things, constantly put yourself out into something new.
Yeah. Facts. Absolutely. I totally agree with that. I mean, I like how you put it too. Yeah. Just putting one foot in front of the other, not being down too long. You're going to have some off days where you're like, man, I didn't get enough done today. But, just really keeping your head in the game, you know what I mean? Locking back in, understanding, who you are. And I think the main thing is, doing it when you're tired, doing it when you're happy, doing it when you're down, I think is the key to really even building something from scratch. Because, people always talk about being an entrepreneur and what that looks like. Then you hear, it's so tough to do. And you don't know that until you get on your own journey, and you start to see, all right, this is probably what they were talking about. Okay, I see this here. Okay, this is a little barrier right here. Okay, I got to do more over here. And so yeah, I love that, because even, when we talk about identities, D1 expectation is still not the full scope of who Kendric is. I think it covers a good bit of who I am, but as far as just everything I'm put on this earth to do, I don't, I like to think it doesn't even scratch the surface a little bit. I like to think that, but I think it does. But I think a lot of us, I think people are meant to do more than the world even allows them to do it at that moment in time, right? Even in their mind of being like, hey, I go to my 9 to 5 and I come home and this is all I'm able to do. You know what I mean? Sometimes you need that intervention from God. You need something stripped away from you. Sometimes you need to hit this roadblock or this barrier, because he can't even get you to where he's trying to get you, where you being stuck in this treadmill of life. I go to 9 to 5, I go here, I come home, I'm a father, I'm a husband, or whatever the case is. I think a lot of times people, they limit themselves just in their mind, not because they don't have nothing better to do, but that's all they can see right now. And they're not able to really expand without something being stripped away from them.
Yeah.
And so
because it's fear led. It's led by fear.
Yep.
And then when that thing is stripped away, well, now you got two choices. Mm-hmm. You either buck up or don't.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. There is no other alternative.
Yeah.
Right? Like at some point, life's gonna be like, hey, pick one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pick one. Right? And it's scary.
Yeah, very scary.
It's scary,
very
right?
scary.
Like, I mean, you know, it's a lot, but I think that it's worth it. I think putting in effort every single day is worth it, or at least trying to put in effort every single day. Right? There's some days you don't want to fucking do nothing.
Yeah.
And those are the days that you just do a little. Just do something. Do something and remind yourself like, oh, that did feel good.
Yeah.
Right. And then it just gets a little easier and a little easier and a little easier. But yeah, man, I think, you know, peaking in high school is depressing.
Yeah.
And we all know a lot of people that peaked in high school.
Yeah. I'm talking about once they got out of high school, it looked like they didn't give a damn. Like,
and it's like, dude, you didn't even start life yet.
Yeah.
Life didn't even start yet. You got 60 more years.
Oh, man. That's the biggest head scratcher. I think
You're
that's 18. When you realize, that's when you realize you're really an adult. When you start to see people fall off immediately. I'm talking about immediately. Yeah. I'm talking about they went
that summer.
Yeah, that summer, they got in the left lane, they pressed hard on the gas pedal, and they went straight for like.
And never reflect. What do you think that is? Because I think about it, right? And there's a constant inner dialogue for me. Like if I'm on the couch and I know I'm supposed to be editing, if I know I'm supposed to, I should have walked the dog, or damn man, I should have hit that workout today. It is constantly in my head, and it's like I know when I should have done something else because my mind does not allow me to not recognize that.
Yeah.
So it's like, do people not have that same voice? Do people not have that same recognition? Or do they just suppress that so hard?
Yeah.
Because that weighs on you.
Yeah. I mean, I would think that's because, man, I never really thought about like, why do people seem to plummet so hard after high school? I think it's part of their identity that you were mentioning. They attach everything to their reputation in high school, or how do people perceive them when they're walking from class to class, or their classmates? How do they perceive them? And it's hard for me to think about it because I'm not wired like that. And one thing that came to my mind as you were just speaking just now is, I think it's the small town mindset. I got a friend right now. I'm like, oh, that's that small town thinking. Oh, you just got your passport? Yeah, that's small town thinking. Like, I think there's things that don't benefit you if you don't adjust and adapt. I think football helped me so much that I was thinking big lights. I'm thinking, people not being where I'm from, meet new people. So I don't think people had that outlet necessarily, or whatever they were doing. Maybe it wasn't under big lights. Maybe it was, like basket weaving, or like what you say, underground. Yeah, underwater basket weaving. Basket weaving, right? Maybe it was that, and maybe, nobody's coming to watch you do that, But I think with your life being kind of, under some lights, or under, I wouldn't even say a microscope, but under some type of surveillance, I guess, it makes you work harder. And I think for me, I always felt like that. So it makes me internally work harder. It gives me more motivation because I always almost.
But the alternative is crumbling.
Yeah.
Quitting.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I've done that plenty.
Yeah.
I quit my senior year of football.
Yeah.
I quit this. Mm-hmm. That is the alternative.
Yeah.
Right? And like I told you earlier today, like when that kid came out, I was like, oh, quitting is not an option.
No, it's not.
It's not an option no more, right? What are you going to do? You're going to quit on her? Like that's, can't do that.
No.
Can't do that. Mm-hmm. So, it is, that is the only alternative.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And, life really is that simple.
Yeah.
There's usually two paths.
Yep.
There's the right one The one where that inner voice tells you exactly what to do every single day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's just the wrong one that's going to lead usually to probably depression. You're going to be sad. You're going to be bitter. You're going to be mad at people who are at least trying.
Yeah.
Right? I'm sure there's people that see you and see your videos and they see what you're trying to do and be like, man, fuck Kenny. I hope he doesn't make it.
Yeah.
And all that is just them portraying their inner feelings.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yep.
And I think that's why sometimes it is kind of depressing to see, because you're like, oh man, I just want to give you a hug, dude.
Yeah.
Like, what happened?
Yeah.
What happened? Why did you give up on yourself so much?
Yeah.
Why did you stop caring?
Yeah.
What was it that beat you this bad?
Yeah.
Some people have some pretty fucking awful stories.
Yeah, they do.
You know, and it could be hard. It could be really hard, but I think, and you know, I can only speak from my personal experience, and I think it's worth it. I think it's worth putting in effort every single day.
Yeah.
I think it makes life way more fun. I think your days are longer. You know, it kind of extends that feeling of, oh God damn, dude, it's been a year. Yeah. It's already January again.
Yeah, January.
You know, you still have that feeling.
Yeah.
But at least in the moment, it does feel a little bit more extended.
Yeah.
When January rolls around, you're like, shit, dude, that went by quick.
Yeah.
But in the moment, day to day, I feel like, damn, it's 2:00.
Yeah.
Whew, a lot been done already.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good feeling.
Oh yeah.
And I think that is what we're meant to do.
Yeah.
And it's exhausting. But what is the alternative? Just to rot away? Just to be a flesh? To be a skeleton? Just to exist?
Right. Right.
Whew.
I can't live like that. I couldn't.
Yeah,
I couldn't do it.
It's tempting.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's temptation every single day. There's so much goddamn content.
Yeah.
Just on your phone alone.
Yeah.
Not even mentioning HBO, Netflix, Hulu, Peacock, Paramount, etc.
Yep.
Lord knows after this, I'm watching the UFC fights.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm watching that boxing fight today. So
Who
yeah.
boxes tonight?
Shakur and Teofimo.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm gonna check that out. Who UFC?
Volkanovski fights tonight.
Yeah, they love to put good
Alexander
fights. They like to put good fights. Boxing and UFC. They almost like they be trying to make you pick which one you like. You know what I mean? I'm like, I respect both of them.
You ultimately choose boxing though?
Yeah, I would say so. Just because I grew up more, I would say my family is definitely more into boxing, but UFC kind of came a little later.
Yeah,
it came a little bit later. But I got mad respect for UFC too. I like them both. I didn't think I was gonna love UFC as much as I did. I remember Chuck Liddell was kind of like one of the first people I used to see. I'm like, okay.
That's a bad dude.
That was a bad man, right?
Shit, he can barely walk anymore.
I know, right?
He can barely walk anymore, but that was a bad man, dude.
That was a bad dude.
I want to go back to your company real quick, but this has been something that's been on my mind. Is we kind of briefly touched on it, like the difference between the NFL and college today, and kind of the kids, the experience, like their mentality. I feel like I love the fact that they can make money off of their brand now in college.
Yeah,
I think it's great, right? I think they were being exploited.
Yeah,
your career can end at any moment.
Yeah,
make money. I think that's awesome. But human nature always just shows us that, man, sometimes it's not always the best thing for the human.
Yeah.
Should they make money? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But then you just start to see kind of the repercussions of it.
Yeah.
Right? Where people only kind of care about building that brand now.
Yeah.
They don't care about being the greatest as much.
No.
And I think that is a detriment to the overall sport. It's great individually, but for the overall sport and from a team aspect, I could see how this starts to maybe cause some friction in the locker rooms. I could see how it causes some friction with coaches.
Yeah.
Like I said, now we just start getting all these kind of soft coaches. Like, dude, bro.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude. I died laughing. The Pittsburgh Steelers went from Mike Tomlin, one of the baddest coaches to ever coach. And then before that, they had Bill Cowher, right? Another bad motherfucker.
Man. Yeah.
Two dudes that you know were leaders of men.
Yeah, facts.
That they didn't fuck around.
No.
The people on the team weren't trying them. They were going to put you in your place.
Yeah.
What men need if you want to be at that level, right? Especially what men need in college to put you in your place and be like, oh, no, this is what the real world is like. When that coach yelled at you, that was you. Boom.
Yeah.
At that moment, you were like, I am no longer a kid.
Yeah, facts.
I'm no longer a kid. Yeah. I am here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And so they went from those two dudes to hiring Mike McCarthy, bro.
Did I miss that news? When did that happen?
Bro, last week. And when I tell you, I texted my boy, I dying laughing because for one, why? Just go hire anyone.
Yeah.
Anyone. At that point, because you're hiring mediocrity.
Yeah.
To me, it's a lazy hire. It's a lazy hire and it's a comfort hire.
Yeah.
Because you know his track record. We all saw the watermelon video with the Cowboys. The man that ain't a leader, dude.
Yeah.
That is a soft. The players aren't gonna respect you. Not the level that you need in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
That's like Mike McCarthy being the head coach of Baltimore.
Right.
But what?
Like, come on, man. Like,
they gonna walk all over that man.
Pittsburgh,
dude.
they got too much history.
Or Philly, bro. Like what? Any of those areas over there, bro.
Areas,
the East Coast is just different in general.
Yeah, they don't got time.
That's different type of people.
Yeah,
those are hard people, bro.
Yeah,
and they tell you how they feel.
Yeah, facts.
And you need to be a certain type of person.
Yep.
To navigate that and to lead those men.
That's
and
true.
Obviously people in the NFL, they're not all from those areas, but the fans, the media, the external pressures that come, the owners, etc. And to hire Mike McCarthy was such a cop-out to me, bro.
Yeah, kind of
such a cop-out. Like,
it looked like they just grabbed it.
The first recognizable name.
Yeah.
How you go from Mike Tomlin to Mike McCarthy?
Yeah. No.
Especially knowing that you're rebuilding. You don't have a quarterback. Aaron Rodgers is retiring. You don't have a quarterback. And so you're rebuilding.
Yeah.
And so why? Go hire anyone.
Yeah.
Literally anyone. You could have promoted the OC. You could have went and hired any college coach, no name guy, and would have gotten the same results.
Yeah.
Almost guaranteed.
Yeah.
Because y'all are going to suck no matter what. You're not going to the playoffs next year.
Yeah.
There's almost no chance unless you get some massive free agent quarterback, which I don't even know if there is anybody of that talent going to be available.
Right.
Or unless you just get real lucky in the draft.
Yeah.
But aside from those two miracles, you're probably going to be asked next year.
Yeah, fact.
There's a really good chance, right?
Really good chance.
Go hire anyone else. Nonetheless, it was just fucking funny to me.
Yeah.
To go from Bill Cowher, Mike Tomlin, to Mike McCarthy, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just
it's a little different.
I don't know, man. I just can't imagine a locker room full of super athletes looking at that dude and be like, yeah, that's my head coach.
Yeah.
I respect that dude. Hell nah, dude. They in group chats roasting your ass.
Yeah.
It's just no, I don't know. I don't know. That's how I see it. Not being, not playing at that level, but that's how I see that thing. I don't see people striving for greatness. And when players are striving for greatness, they stand out above all of them, just like they always have. But I feel like even more so, like Larry Fitzgerald had more tackles in his career than drops. And I don't feel like there's anybody in the league outside of maybe Amon St. Brown who has that similar kind of mentality where it's like, look, I'm catching the ball.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm catching the fucking ball. There's so many players you see, like we were talking about, like 3rd and 7, and they drop this slant, and they just fucking,
Yeah.
Ooh, bruh, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw your highlight last week. That was cute. Cool. Nice one-handed catch. You're real talented. Super athlete. Loved it. But then the little things, man. And so the way that I always describe it, I think early 2000s football, or just sports in general, was when grittiness and talent peaked together.
Yeah.
Because now we're on the other side of things where players are being smarter. They know more about CTE. They want more longevity. They want to make more money. They know it can go away. So they're a little bit more, passive. They are. The rules are also changing.
Yeah.
And so talent way higher. Players are far more talented. You got DNs running 4.4s, 4.5s, 4.3. Like you got Micah Parsons out there.
Yeah.
Right.
Fact.
These crazy athletes, unheard of. Right.
Right.
But then you just see these little things that you're just like, man, that same kind of like that same competitive edge, that same grittiness, that same like, nah, we can be cool tomorrow off the field, but today, you play for Baltimore and I play for the Steelers. Fact. I'm about to fuck your life up.
Yeah. Fact.
We can text each other tomorrow, but right now, we're going to try to kill each other. And it seems like we're swinging a little bit back that way.
Yeah.
But like, how do you feel about that? What is your experience working with these kids?
Yeah.
What has been your experience and their mindset overall? Like, what have you noticed that's different?
I think it's a part of what you kind of mentioned at first. They're like so focused on building a brand. Like, I think one thing I saw like a kid get signed to some particular brand. I don't even want to like mention the brand because I don't want to like, I don't know exactly what they do, but I'm like, I guess in my head, really being somewhat new to how everything is kind of structured now with NIL and all of that, I'm like, don't you have to be good or don't you have to be somewhere of importance to even get a look? And I guess it's more like a popularity contest versus like...
Well, they see Jake Paul.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They see Jake Paul making millions.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not that he's not talented. He's put in the work. But that's what they're not... That's what they're not seeing, though.
Yeah.
They're not seeing the grind.
No.
They're seeing the results.
Yeah.
But they're thinking like, oh, I can just build my own brand and I can be mediocre.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, maybe. Mm-hmm. Very slim.
Yeah.
But you know what will guarantee that brand? Being fucking great.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like you're forgetting the great part, which is the hardest part.
Yeah.
That's still the hardest part, whether you're focused on it or not. It's almost like someone, I hate when I get this question. Did you want to go to the NFL? Don't let nobody lie to you and tell you they didn't want to go and get paid maximum dollar for what they're doing. I really stop people in their tracks. Like, don't let anybody lie to you and say they wanted to go do something else versus go make $1 million. $4 million here or 40,000. Like, that's not even close. Like, don't let anybody play with your mind. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do this. I wanted to be a pastor. I wanted to, come on, man. Like we ain't gonna play with each other like that, you know. So
I think they mean it when they say it, though.
Yeah.
I think they really mean it when they say it, and I think that goes back to what has, again, the whole theme of everything you've been saying. Like you believed in yourself. Mm-hmm. To me, I can understand those people because I do that, right?
Yeah.
People will be like, like, what do you want to do with the podcast? You're like, whatever happens, right? But, thinking about it and based on what you're kind of saying, that same kind of mindset, it's got to be, no, dude, like I want to be, I want it to be recognized. I want people to listen.
Yeah.
I believe that, it could maybe help somebody, right? Or what podcasting has done for me in turn, like me listening to podcasts, what it's done for me. It's fucking, ultimately it's changed my life. Being able to hear all these different perspectives and all these different, people coming on with alternate ideas or maybe a perspective that is unpopular, but being able to hear why people think the way that they do ultimately just forms a well-rounded perspective on your end. Yeah. And, with what you're saying, like these people, like they're like, I just wanted to do this. I was playing college football because of this. I think they truly believe it. I think that they, like, in the sense, like they didn't have that self-belief. Yeah. It's not that they didn't want to go to the NFL. They just didn't think it was ever possible. Yeah. Even when they were there. Right. And I think that might be something that's really hard for you to fathom or for you to understand because you were there on you said you were there for a purpose. You were there for a reason. You believed in yourself. Yeah. But not everybody has that. And I understand that because I could imagine being that kind of guy. Yeah. I could imagine playing college football, being good, being decent, and someone being like, oh, did you want to go to the NFL? Well, electrical engineering sounds cool. Yeah. And then, someone like you who has had that self-belief or has built that self-belief being like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You're a goddamn liar. You telling me you didn't want to make $40 million going and play football?
Right.
You a fucking liar.
Right.
But I could imagine that person, at least in that moment, maybe at that point in which you caught them, right?
Yeah.
Especially if it's like 5 years, 10 years from them playing college football.
Right.
I could 100% imagine them being like, it was fun, it was cool, but I really just wanted to do this. And whatever it was, put X in.
I didn't even think about it that way. You're right though. Like, yeah, you're right though. And it's almost like, and not to be offensive to nobody, it's almost like not everybody's meant to be a main character. You know what I mean? That's why you have the background. I grew up on Family Matters and Saved by the Bell. You used to see that person dancing in the background. You're like, what Buddy doing back there? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I see you back there. Like, what you doing? And so, not everybody's meant to be a main character in maybe this given season of their life, or maybe they're meant to be a background character more so. And not saying the ones that didn't believe in themselves are background characters or anything like that, but I think a lot of time people, I like how you put it, because I think like this, sometimes I could get so one-track minded where I think, yeah, why wouldn't you think like that?
Yeah.
Like, why not?
Yeah.
Like, it's the best way. And when you gave me that other perspective of that maybe they didn't believe that they were going. And I think I never even looked at it that way, because I'm like locked in, like, yeah, ain't no way, But that's a good point, bro. I didn't even think of that.
Well, because I experienced it kind of firsthand in college, playing intramural football, and playing with guys, or even just intramural basketball. Like playing, I never played team basketball, never growing up, right? I would play with my boys, whatever. We had a hoop, we would play, but I never played on a team, never had any formal training, practice, whatever. And I get to Sam Houston State, and there were the courts were divided, right? There was the court on the far left. When you walk into the gymnasium, on the far left was like D3 athletes, D2 athletes, guys that were trying to get on Sam Houston's team, or they were good.
Yeah.
Right? Good enough.
Yeah.
And then you had your court that was like, maybe played high school ball. Yeah. They just really loved it. Yeah, right? And so they still loved it. They were good enough too, right? In that regard. Like, these guys were super fucking competitive. They were still either trying to make it, or they were still holding on to the fact that they used to play college football. College basketball. These guys, they loved it, maybe played high school ball, maybe they were a superstar at that point, but they just didn't play college football, college basketball for whatever reason. And then the two courts on the right were just whoever, right? And me never even playing basketball would always get picked up on these two courts.
Yeah.
And bro, I can't shoot. I can't fucking dribble. But I could play the fuck out of some defense. Yeah. Right? Play the fuck out of some defense, right?
Yeah.
And could rebound, could jump for my size, for my height, right? Like, and I'd get picked up, and I was like, what the fuck? I am, like, where the fuck was this in high school? Like, I am an athlete. Like, what is this? Yeah. Because, like, in high school, like I said, I quit my senior year. Was mad about, like, PT, and, like, I didn't put that much effort into it. That's just the fucking reality of it. I just didn't try. When it came to working out, fucking hated it in high school.
Yeah, some talent
hated
over there.
It, bro. Yeah, dude. I mean, we
talent over there.
We wasn't beating y'all. We went to the semifinals my sophomore year.
Your sophomore
and then
year.
Lake Travis beat us 72-9.
That wasn't fair.
Bro, Garrett Gilbert, god damn, dude. Insane, bro, what they did to us. We were fucking good.
Y'all were good.
We were good that year. Good. Legitimately good. And they beat the brakes off of us.
You know what threw me off? And not even this, because one of y'all wide receivers, I'm at Blinn, he just walking around normal, not on the team. Number 24, what's his name? Number 24, you had Ja'Cory was on one side and he was on the other side. I forgot his name.
My sophomore year?
Your junior year.
So my junior year?
Yeah, because you were 11 class, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So y'all had Michael Cummins.
Yep.
Yeah, was the quarterback.
Michael Cummins, and then we had Jaquel as the running back.
As the running back. And y'all had two wide receivers.
Ja'Cory, and then number
Brodey.
24.
Yeah, what's his name? I know. They were like,
so I know. So my sophomore year, we had Deontay Epps. He went on to. He stopped playing football, but he went to Baylor. And then we had Dane Beasley, who I went to school with at Sam Houston, who also walked onto the team, I believe, or tried to walk on and then ended up not playing. But we all played intramural football together.
Yeah.
And so then,
Washington. Oh man, I remember him. He was good. That's why I'm like,
dude, we had some
good. Like both, Jacory was good. He was good, and like so for me to see him, and this is my second year of college, and I think we were like the same. I think he was 2010 class too.
Hamlet?
Huh?
What's up?
Corey Hamlet?
Corey Hamlet.
2013 or
No,
2010.
2010.
Yeah, 2010.
Number 24.
Number 24. Yeah.
2010, number 2020, 24. Killeen Kangaroos.
Yeah.
The Roos, bruh. Dude, I know guys who just couldn't get the fuck out of their own way.
Yeah.
Jacory was one of them. Jacory was fucking good.
Yeah, he was talented.
He was good.
Yeah, he was talented.
But he was just one of those guys that I'll never forget. There was a time where coach was like, everybody burpees. And he just stood there and watched everybody do burpees. And they just let him. Because he was fucking good.
Yeah.
Jacory had like
dual sport.
He was of that level.
Was it any of these key players?
Dude, Royce is my boy though.
Yeah,
Demetrius Ballard, yep.
Royce was at Blinn with me.
That's
Blinn
right. Yeah. Royce went on to play college football. Michael Cummings went to Kansas. Jaquel went to the Army, I believe.
I'm not seeing his.
Dude, I don't remember.
It wasn't Sylvester.
Are you sure it wasn't the year before? Look up 2009.
Yeah, it should be the 2000.
My sophomore class is the one that we went to the semifinals.
Yeah.
I
know once I see his name, I'm gonna be like, yeah, buddy.
Scales?
No, that was a O lineman. That's who we were talking about earlier. He was a ginormous human being.
I wonder if they
just type in Killeen Kangaroos
roster
2009 or like
football roster. Yeah.
Or like major players. Alex Burrett. Dang, dude, some of these names I haven't seen in so long, bro.
Duh.
Scroll so far.
Dang, bro.
Just control F. Oh, never mind. You're good. Oh, there's Reginald Pitts. There's us. Here we are. So 2009. Let me see. Jacory Baker. My boy Darius Robinson. Played basketball with him for a long time after school.
I'm trying to see if
Dang, dude, I haven't seen some of these names in forever.
I know,
is crazy,
right?
Dude. Norman, shout out Norman Crawford. He was on the podcast.
Corey Baker, not that. Rodney Brown.
Oh yeah.
Rodney.
Yeah.
24, right?
Yeah.
Play wide receiver, right? Yeah. I used to see him.
Yes.
Like I didn't know him like I knew Jacory. Me and Jacory played in Boys and Girls Club and all of that good stuff. Yeah, Rodney. I was seeing him, and Royce was on the team, but he wasn't making no noise. He a year behind me too. Yeah. But Royce, we played in Boys and Girls Club. He could hit. He always was a solid football player. But yeah, Rodney was just walking around like he was chilling. Yeah, he was cool.
He was good.
And he was good. I'm like, you're not.
Yeah.
But once again, when you come out of your hometown and you start to play everybody else, and everybody was good, and you might not even he wasn't even out there like trying, so I don't know how he would have fared, but there was so much talent at Blinn though. You know what I mean? We're not in the hunt for no talent, trust me. We if anything trying to figure out who's gonna kick off the team to make room for more talent. But yeah, bro, Rodney Brown, I saw him just walking around.
It's when you start to realize that talent is only a fraction of it.
Yeah, it is.
This is something I always like. I don't watch the NFL that often. I'll watch a couple games a year, but I keep up with it. Keep up with the stats. I know who the players are. I know who's doing well, etc. And I always tell my boy, I'm like, look, this team's gonna win, or that team's gonna win. And sometimes I get it right. And he's always like, nah, you got to look at the whole context. And I'm like, look, you're looking at it from a very logistic standpoint. Mm-hmm. But competing for as long as I understand that it's like 96% mental. And that's the part that he's never factoring in. He's always factoring in like the business side, thinking that these guys are immortal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, you got to remember, human nature is human nature across the board.
Yeah.
And when those lights come on, you're going to see who that real person is. It doesn't matter how talented they are. Like, look at Lamar Jackson. Yeah. Lamar Jackson just, they have not been able to figure it out in the playoffs. They just haven't. And there's lots of different reasons. Yeah. They, for whatever reason, forget that they have a running back and they just stop running the ball. Fully aware. I get it. There's also coaching mistakes as well. But, I mean, there's some guys that get it done. Yeah. And then there's some guys that don't get it done. Mm-hmm. And it's not because Lamar Jackson's not fucking great. Yeah. It's not because he's not going to go down as a fantastic football player. Yeah. But just when it's the mental side of things. Yeah, mental. It's the mental side of things, man. And that is the hardest part to conquer, right? I asked my buddy one time, he lost, so during COVID, he's like a software engineer. Mm-hmm. During COVID, he had a ton of money saved up. I don't know if he worked for a year or just didn't work at all or whatever. And nonetheless, he played video games for like 9 hours a day, every single day for a year. Yeah. And he went from like 180 pounds to like 360 pounds. And, Sheesh. And it's interesting because if you talk to him, he'll tell you, I knew I would lose the weight like the whole time. He said that like during that year, he knew he would lose the weight. He knew there was going to be a day where it's like, all right, I got to lose this. Yeah. But he didn't give a fuck. He was so locked into that video game. He was playing Valorant. And he was so locked in for the whole year. Yeah. And he then joined the Muay Thai gym. He was on the Muay Thai team with me and then does jiu-jitsu as well. And I asked him one time because he ended up losing all the weight just like he told me he would. Because when he came in, he was still fat. And he was like, look, I'm going to lose the weight. And he just always had that confidence, right?
Yeah, just very confident in it.
And so he did. He lost all the weight just like he said he was gonna. And I asked him one day, I was like, dude, you've been now doing Muay Thai with us and doing jiu-jitsu now a couple of years. You understand that this shit hurts. Yeah. Like you wake up and it's like, fuck, dude, is this really worth it? Yeah. And I asked him, I was like, is it really worth it, dude? Like you've now been on both ends of this. You've been super lazy, super fat, life of comfort, going to now doing martial arts, sparring 2, 3, 4 times a week and training 6 days a week. Is it worth it? Like, is what we're doing worth it? And he was like, fuck yeah, without hesitation. He was like, being fat sucked. He was like, being fat was the worst thing ever. And I think about that a lot because we're talking about this, right? And you have all these talented guys, but they just can't dial in the mental aspect. Mm-hmm. And things that solo sports do the best is dial in that mental side of things, because when you go in there, it's just you. And I'm always like, dude, my fucking body hurts. But doing those things is what keeps me mentally sane, keeps me mentally sharp. And I always remind myself, I'm like, look, it's easier to fix your body. Yeah. It is so much harder to fix your mind. Yeah. And yeah, I think about it when we talk about these kinds of things. It's like, you know, a lot of these guys are in great shape. They've spent a lot of times in their physical attributes, but they've negated the one thing that really is going to separate the guys, especially in college, and then even more in the NFL. Yeah. In the NFL, the average lifespan is like a couple years. Yeah. And then you're out. You're out of there. Those guys that are playing 16, 17 seasons in the NFL are fucking built different. Very different. Different. That is all mental. Yeah. Because they can't be that much more talented. Yeah. They can't be. No. You're in the NFL. You're in the NFL.
Yeah, you're at the creme de la creme. Right? Yeah. Fact.
In high school, you can get by just pure talent. Yeah. Zero effort. If you're that good, you will. I saw it. Yeah. I seen it with my own eyes, dude. Right. Ja'Cory Baker is a perfect example. That probably one of the most talented athletes I think I saw. Yeah. And no problem in high school. Just destroyed everybody. Yeah. Easy, right? Yep. And what? There's somebody out there that was working harder, put more effort in, and now they're in the NFL, and he's not. Yeah, facts. Right? And that's the part that, you know, is you can't overlook that part.
You can't.
Right? I'm sure you've seen people more talented than you.
Yeah.
better physical attributes,
Yeah.
better at this. Maybe they had a better swim move. Maybe they had a better rip. Maybe they got a better spin.
Yeah.
All these things. But they just couldn't fucking put it together.
Yeah.
And you outworked them.
Yeah.
And you constantly just did better.
Yeah. That's true. Nah, that's a great point. Yeah, and I think that's where a lot of athletes, they peak out. They're not able to make that transition from high school because, like you said, a lot of times they're just better than their competition.
Just better.
Then when they get to college, they're a freshman, so they already have some people probably ahead of them in the pecking order, and their mental, something that they didn't train at all because they were just better than everybody. Now the transfer portal is probably the best thing for a lot of these kids because they ain't mentally prepared to stay somewhere long term and really grind it out and go from the coach's bad side to the good side, and you know what I mean? They not built for that. You know, they're built to they're kind of more flighty, like, oh yeah, I'm out of here. Oh yeah, I'm out of here. Yeah. And you know, and so kind of speaking to your earlier question, I think that can kind of mess some things up, or it doesn't allow them to really have to face the reality of your mentality and how your mindset is going to be able to get you over those hurdles and those obstacles that you're just going to see it in the league. It's just another step. Even if you make it that far, if you even make it that far, you're just going to see it again. You know.
Would you do the same thing? Would you? Let me rephrase that. Do you think it's a net positive? The NIL deals, these kids being able to make all this money. Do you think it's a net positive, knowing how humans evolve and develop? And understanding that side of things, do you still think it's a net positive?
Initially, I'm always think someone getting some money or being able to make a way for themselves is going to be positive. I think initially, but the con of it, because they don't have the concept of money all the way. So if let's say they get a large sum of money, they don't really. Now you just start buying things, right? You might start just accumulating bills, right? Or maybe you just start buying things off. I don't know. But they don't realize how quickly that money goes. I mean, it goes so quickly, man. And I don't think, I even talked about Odell Beckham was talking about 100K is not enough to live off of. First of all, they take 40 out of that. So, for taxes. So you got 60. Yeah. But I broke it down to a point where I'm like, if you fuck off 30 million, that's the most you can mess over, because that other 30 has to go toward investments, toward making sure that you have money to live off for the long run. But if I'm over here, partying with 40 mil and I only got 20 mil left, what you think now? I'm balling on. I'm really dealing with a $40 million budget, or I'm really dealing with a $20 million budget, but my mindset is 40 mil. Mm-hmm. And so I'm not even scratching the surface of being able to live off this money long term, because I've been balling on 40 mil the last, 5, 6, 7 years.
Man, that's an interesting point. That goes back to what we're talking about. That's an interesting point because, these college kids now, they're not having to have that same kind of struggle.
Yeah.
And again, on the surface, it's probably a great thing, right?
Yeah.
I've been thinking about this a lot. So I listened to a podcast with Konstantin Kozin, I think his name is. He runs the Trigonometry podcast. He's one of the hosts. Mm-hmm. And he was on the Diary of a CEO, Stephen Brackett, I think his name is. He was on his podcast, right? Pretty popular podcast.
Right.
And he was on there. And he was talking about the world and how we got here and everything. And really it can be summed up into one sentence. He said, we got to this point where we got so comfortable. We only started doing things that made us feel good and not what worked in practicality.
Yeah.
And, now even as we're having this conversation, I'm sitting here thinking as a person who is very, 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 very for them getting paid.
Yeah.
Now thinking like, was this actually a good thing?
Yeah, right.
Was this actually a good thing? Because on the surface, it makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. These kids' careers could be ended at any moment. ACL, boom, never play football again.
Yeah.
Right? But then the older you get and the more you realize the effect this has on people's mental and the mental fortitude now that they do not have to build because of this, because of this comfort.
Right.
You really start to realize that, you know what, we might be making worse people for the long haul, and for civilization, because there are certain aspects that you only learn from having to eat PB&Js.
Yeah.
Or that you only learn from living off of $400 a month. I remember my mom, my freshman year, my dad was deployed, so we had a little extra cash, and my mom gave me an allowance of like $200 or $400 a month.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
If I didn't have a job my freshman year of college.
Yeah.
If I went over that or spent it all, well, I got 10 days left.
Yeah, you gotta dug it out.
Well, all right.
Dug it out.
Yeah, I guess I'm not, I ain't going to the grocery store then. I got cafeteria, that's it. I better eat all my calories when I'm in there because there ain't no other food, right? And so there's only lessons that you learn that you just can't learn. Right, and then you start to see these kids it was at the Jake Paul last fight. Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua. Behind the scenes after the fight, these YouTuber or these like TikToker kids, I can't remember their fucking name, dude. But they roll in like a group and they got this big ass security guard, dude. They've gotten in other altercations that have kind of went viral or whatever. No, it's just kind of yapping and stirring shit up, right? Yeah. Kids who don't understand repercussions.
Yeah, right.
So they end up picking a fight with Andre Olowski.
Oh yeah, I think I did see that, right? After after the
Jake Paul. Yeah, it was at the Jake Paul fight, and they ended up picking a fight with this dude. And clearly, they have no fucking idea who this guy is. Right. One of the greatest heavyweights. He's gonna fucking put you through the earth. Right, even the security guard, and they got a big ass security guard. I mean, he's got to be like 6'8", 320, and even that motherfucker was like, and took a couple steps back. He wanted no part, And you only get those types of characters from a lack of understanding consequences. Does it make for good TikTok? Sure, but does it make us better as a society, as a civilization? I don't think so. No. I don't think so. And now that I'm sitting here, I'm rethinking this entire NIL thing in my head. Right, I'm having a huge debate in my head right now. Like, I'm like, holy fuck. Yeah. Did we just fuck over all these kids? Right. Because the reality of life is that there's gonna be people who fall and they have to rebuild themselves. Yeah. Or they don't rebuild themselves. Yeah. And that is the reality of life. And those are the only ways you start to get these strong men, right? Yeah. There's that saying, soft men make soft times make hard men make hard times. It goes the other way. But hard times make hard men make soft times make soft men. And I think that's where we're at. Yeah. We're in the soft times. We live in, it's cush. Yeah. It's cush, bro. We can go to H-E-B, get whatever the fuck we want. You want what for dinner? I just go to the grocery store. We got access to everything. It just gets shipped to us. Yeah. We don't got to grow nothing. We don't have to worry about what season it is. Yeah. Blueberry season, don't matter. I just pay an extra $1. We don't. It's so fucking cush. Yeah. And man,
I think even allowing them, the thing that probably makes me a little more on the, because you got to watch, they don't say, oh, you're an old head and just mad that things is different.
Right, I know.
My only problem is, I just told you about the 6 transfer rule with Blinn, right? Y'all had rules coming out the yin yang back when I played. Yeah. And I still feel young. I don't feel like, whatever.
It wasn't that long ago.
It wasn't that long ago, bro. Y'all had... y'all was pulling rules. Y'all was making up new rules as you took your next step. Now y'all just have these kids thinking they can do whatever they want to do. And I think partly what we talking about with the NIL, and then also them just not having enough rules. Yeah. Life is full of rules. they got less rules in college sports than they do in life. And that's going to be a harsh reality once you come out and have to deal with what life has to offer.
Because as you just mentioned, 1% of them are going to the NFL.
Yeah,
and
1%.
Then half of them will be out of the NFL and broke in 2 years.
Yeah, easy, very easy.
And so are we really helping these kids? Because the vast majority of them aren't going to get NIL money anyways.
Yeah.
And then the kids who do, they could still lose their career.
Yeah.
Right. And they could, okay, cool. You got $1 million. Do you know how to do what to do with it? Did you have any financial skills, any financial literacy? Like, do you know how to invest this money? Do you know how to make sure that you're not going to spend it all? Did you already spend it all because you assumed you were going to the league?
Fact.
Right. Like I always think about that. You might know how this works. Draft night.
Yeah.
Dude, you see these dudes in $30,000 watches, $1 million suit. That's an exaggeration, but you know what I mean? Like you see them all decked out. Is that like, who's paying for that up front?
Because I think it's the agent pays for it.
Okay.
Like, it's like they give you some money. Like it's almost like they front you some money. Okay. Knowing that you have to, you're going to have to pay that back, right? Once you get your contract. Once you get your contract, you get your signing bonus. You got all them little deductions, probably line item, let's say $1 million signing bonus just turned into, and then they take taxes out of that. So you cut it in half, so $500K, and then you got them itemized deductions, probably going to end up being, probably about $100K, $200K. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm being generous. Maybe you might end up with $300K after a meal.
Some of them show up to draft night. Yeah. Like it's the Emmys. Like they've been making money for 30 years.
I'm still remembering how Jackson Dart and how swaggy he was, and my boy, because I was telling my friend, I'm like, man, Tyler Shuck is gonna end up being better. And my homie really felt more in love, like really liked his swag more than anything. I'm like, bro, get off of that. Like, I feel like he's better, but he's more swaggier, and I get it. Like we ain't seen a dude look that swaggy, with just that confidence like that in a minute. You know what I mean? A quarterback.
You have to with that kind of name.
Yeah, Jackson Dart, a quarterback, kind of. They're a little bit more like Tyler was. Sitting at home, got his girlfriend. But he just kind of. And so I argue with my boy, but I'm like, bro, you just biased, bro, because you like his swag. You just really, you ever since he had them diamonds on in the draft night,
isn't that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, which one of them, if football was to be taken away, which one of them is going to be a better member of society? Yeah. Just by that, right? And I don't know either. I don't know either of them personally, right?
Yeah, right.
But you can only assume that the guy sitting on the couch, humble, with his girlfriend, is probably going to be an overall better member of society in the long run, right? You would think. And again, I don't know either of them personally. Jackson Dart might be a fucking sweetheart of a dude, and he probably is, right? But again, it's like, hey, it's tough, dude, because humans require hard times.
They do.
Yeah. Like this is something Joe Rogan has talked about before that has resonated with, well, it doesn't resonate with me because I'm not rich and famous, but it's something that I think is a very interesting perspective for him to have as a person in his situation. He talked about it. He's like, this when his girls were younger, he was like, I came from a fucked up childhood. Mm-hmm. There was nights the lights would get turned off. We were on food stamps. We were poor. Mm-hmm. And what drove me to be where I'm at today is that. Right. I didn't want that. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to be that. And, anybody I talk to that even has any somewhat of a moderate success or have turned their life around, that's a large driving factor. Yeah. Right? Like, something in their life happened. It's just like what you were saying with LSU and Blinn. When you got to Blinn, you were like, fuck, dude, I want to go back. I want that again. And that's what's driving you. And that's what ultimately got you a scholarship in Ohio. That's what got you to send those emails out and to advocate for yourself, even though you didn't even play a game. Like you could have been I use humble loosely. That's not what I mean. But you could have been like, I haven't even stepped on the field. I'm not going to send those emails because I hadn't earned it yet, right?
Yeah,
but you had this mindset of like, no, I earned it from the X, Y, and Z, right?
Yep.
And a lot of people could have been like, that's cocky, or but that got you the scholarship without even having to play a game, right?
Fact.
That self-advocation, that taking that leap, right?
Yeah.
And so, life is hard, and you don't get a LeBron James without Akron, without where he's from.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen, dude. You don't get that level of greatness without some kind of drive coming from such a young age, being like, I don't want to live like this.
Yeah.
I don't want my family to live like this. I don't want my future family to live like this. I don't want our brothers to live like this, etc. Right?
Yeah.
And so he talks about how, he's trying to navigate this because you don't want your kids to go through what you did.
Yeah.
But then you also recognize that that's what got you to where you are.
Facts. Yeah, true.
So how the fuck do you balance that? Because you are rich, right? You signed a $200 million Spotify contract. You are rich as fuck. You don't have to put your kids through any kind of adversity at all.
Facts.
They don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
They don't even have to work.
Yeah.
They can just inherit whatever you die with, because that's a shit ton of money, right? Yeah. And it's something that he's talked about openly, where he's like, you got to navigate that. So you put them through, he talks about it where he puts himself through voluntary adversity. And I think about this as a person who, we always had just enough money.
Yeah.
Never a ton of money, but always just enough to live right outside the hood.
Yeah.
Just enough to where we could peep in and you could be like, oh, that could be it.
Yeah.
But we not.
Yeah.
And I think about this a lot because I'm like, man, I really haven't had this hard life, right? I've been very fortunate. I've lost very few people in my life, even still to this day, right? I lost my uncle a couple weeks ago. But outside of that, it's okay, dude. Life. Yeah. Outside of my grandpa, before that, really about it, dude. Yeah. Just a couple close people, right? Some people in high school that I knew-ish, but wasn't like super, super close with. People that I've known that have passed. And I think about this and I'm like, okay, so then how do I get that same kind of drive? Mm-hmm. And it's just doing hard things. Yeah. That's where that's where CrossFit came in. That's where martial arts has come in. That's where even doing like men's physique shows and bodybuilding has come in. Like, putting myself through voluntary adversity. Yeah. And I think that we should operate in a society where we want no one to grow up that way. Yeah. But also recognize that it is necessary for human development.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And so we should then voluntarily put ourselves through kind of safe adversity.
Yeah, facts.
Because we have to, right? But now we've hit this point where you don't have to if you don't want to. Yeah. If you grow up cush enough, you don't have to. Right. You don't have to do a hard fucking thing in your life. Yeah. You can get on your phone right now and order Uber Eats. Yeah. Yeah. You can order your groceries to be delivered here. Yeah. You could have the cushest, softest, most pillowed ass life you possibly want. Yeah. And I think there's a lot of people that are choosing that. Yeah. And I think we're seeing the detriment of it in society.
Yeah, facts. I agree. Yeah, I didn't even really think of it like that too. But yeah, you're right. You spot on. You go make that. You go make them millions of dollars. You got legacies coming behind you that don't have to work. How do they become the man you did without having the adversity? Yeah. Because that adversity, I mean, it's definitely going to create a man out you.
It has to.
It has to. There's no other way. And yeah, I never looked at the dilemma that there was really a dilemma there. And I mean, if that's something that LeBron is talking about openly, I think he needs to continue to talk about that because, once you get to that level, I mean, your generation is going to be able to eat off of, you know, what you did.
Yeah.
And so,
and it speaks to him as a father to have Bronny in the NBA.
yeah.
You know, like there's some God-given talent,
Yeah,
for sure. But that also speaks to him parenting, because he clearly pushed them, or he put them through hard things voluntarily.
Yeah, fact.
Because fucking $1 billion man right there.
Yeah, fact.
Those kids, if they didn't want to, or if he was a person who allowed them to do nothing, they could do nothing for forever.
Yeah, because I always had a lot of respect. I'm forgetting who I'm thinking about, but I always had a lot of respect for people that did things when they didn't have to. You know what I mean? You know, I think I told my dad, I think we was talking about it one time, something about, I'm like, I mean, I don't know if we were talking about Drew Brees, but I'm like, he ain't even thinking about no money. He already done, you know, he's still playing, and it's really, you know, I think a lot of people do things for, maybe it's the monetary, you know, and or maybe it's, you know, maybe they just love it a lot. I think when you see someone do something for the love of the sport, it's almost like if there was no money tied to this, you would still be doing it. I have even more respect for that, or just more respect for a man that's already rich, that's still waking up every day, putting one foot in front of the other, and still like he's not even, you know, in position yet. Yeah. I love that, because you don't have to, you know what I mean, necessarily. You can take a month off and not miss a beat. You can, you know, and your chef is still gonna be in the kitchen cooking. You know, you can do certain things and not have to be on this necessary treadmill of life, that I like to call it, where you're just constantly running and running and running, but they voluntarily do it. Yeah. I have to salute that, you know? It's
true. It's true. At some point, it almost becomes a sickness, though.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm thinking, as you're talking about that, I'm thinking of like the most extreme case is Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, $5 trillion company. Oh, and this guy still works like 12-hour shifts, 7 days a week.
Damn. Yeah, that's probably
$5 trillion company.
$5 trillion. NVIDIA. I know I have the NVIDIA Shield. I bought this Shield. That was like I was watching pay-per-view. Yeah. You know what I mean? Before, you know. But it was like a better Fire Stick. Yeah. So that's funny. I didn't know that. NVIDIA is $5 trillion.
They are the most, like they're the most richest company in the world. It used to be Apple. But NVIDIA took that over.
Apple?
Yeah, NVIDIA took that over due to AI. They're the main manufacturer for AI chips. And so once AI became a thing, NVIDIA was ready for it. They were like, yep, we got the chip right now. And right on a queue, boom. And so, I mean, they just crazy
right now.
Right? It's like perfect opportunity, perfect storm. Again, that luck, opportunity, and the preparation. Bam.
They pulled it out like a Little Caesars pizza.
$5 trillion company is crazy, bro. You know, and it's to your point. That's the most, it's like the most extreme example. And I think at some point that probably becomes like a sickness.
Yeah,
right.
Facts.
But to your point, though, he doesn't got to fucking do that.
He don't got to do that.
But either he enjoys it still, which it sounded like he was just on Joe Rogan. It sounded like he still enjoys it, or he truly believes in what he's doing, or a little bit of mixture of both, right? Yeah. But maybe he truly believes that he's making the world a better place by creating AI and doing everything that NVIDIA does. I don't know, but it's just the most extreme version of what you're saying. But it's true. Like if you don't got to do it, but you still do it, that's
big.
We don't have to work out. We don't have to eat right. No. Medicine and healthcare is so good. If you got the money, you can just stay alive.
Yeah, fact.
We see it.
Yeah.
70% of America is overweight. Yeah. 50% is obese. We see people just literally staying alive. Yeah. Existing.
Yeah.
And it's half the country, which is a crazy thing to say out loud that we've just normalized. We've just normalized it.
Yeah.
It's just you're just like, yep, that's what we do.
Yep.
And the fact that people can't separate that and realizing how privileged they are just to be here, regardless, that tells you everything. 50% of the nation, 50% of the nation has enough money to be obese.
Yeah,
like
that's crazy.
There's no other country that There's no other country that A, that does that to themselves,
Yeah.
and B, that could really even do that.
Yeah.
There's only a handful of countries where there's a population with that kind of money.
Yeah.
As a whole.
Yeah. That's crazy.
It is crazy, bro. And to still then wake up every day mad.
Yeah.
And bitch.
Yeah.
And complain.
Yeah.
It's crazy, right? It's
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Tell me a little bit more about your company. What, like, I get the kind of the gist of it, but for the people listening.
Yeah, for sure. So D1 Expectation, what we do is basically we help athletes with, NIL readiness, making sure that they're putting themselves in the best light to get recruited by coaches. So helping them with recruiting, whether it's outreach, messaging, cutting down their highlight tape, a film evaluation, letting them know what level they're at. An athlete hub, creating them a landing page, start building their brand that's even outside of their sport. Like sit downs, like one-on-one with parents and their athlete, or just the athlete, creating a game plan for them that's going to allow them to flourish 6 to 12 months from now. Things like that. I built my whole website myself. D1expectation.com, started building different pages. So I got my services page that lets you know the prices and everything that we do. I say we because it's always, it's me and my imaginary team. But, I have people that'll help me if I needed it, right? But, and so what I'm doing right now is working outreach to a lot of NIL agencies to really be their back-end deliverables, making sure that the people that they do have on their roster, they're able to make sure that they have their highlight tape within 60 to 90 seconds, cut down 60 to 90 seconds, whether they have, need an athlete hub, landing page, things of that nature. And I built it off of the inquiries that I've already got, right? So I had Legacy NIL reach out for like 6 basketball players they wanted highlight tape. We haven't got around to it, but that was something that we discussed, and he needed that for some of his players as a part of Legacy NIL. And so while we're talking about NIL, and the NIL agencies are actually creating it's a lane for D1 Expectation. And actually something I want to create. I basically want to create that branch of D1 Expectation down the line, make D1 Expectation an NIL agency while still doing the very things that I'm doing now. And so, it's something that really started out as football training. Mm-hmm. And it went from football training to once I lost my last job to life coach. I just started making videos because I'm like, I was a financial advisor. I did 10 plus years in sales. I could probably, so I just started putting all my skills together. And as I was going, I started realizing and that's just my journey with God and being off the job for like 6-7 months now. And it just started curving to everything sports. You know what I mean? Everything sports, to working with younger athletes. I did a highlight tape for a good athlete out of Houston. I think he went to one of the Klein schools. They got Klein Forest, Klein Collins, Klein. They got all the Kleins, right? But he went to one of those, and a passion of mine is really seeing these kids go to the school that they want to go to. That's like the highlight of your life. It might end up being the highlight of your life. When it's all said and done. But that's something that drives me. I think. Helping overlooked athletes, really helping them, get on the right path to really achieve their dreams. I think it's a dream for a lot of these young athletes to be able to play under the bright lights and be on TV and to go here, to say you went there, to say you did X, Y, and Z. And so I think that's something. And also the financial literacy piece is big. Taking what I learned as a financial advisor and also being able to speak to athletes about that, making sure that, whether they're at their D1 Division I school or at their Division II, D3, whatever school they may be at, whatever level they're at, making sure that the money that they're getting, making sure that they know what to do with it, and just having a rhythm of, hey, I don't even have to touch it. It just goes here, goes there. The reason why it's going here is because of this. Understanding that. I think a lot of times people don't understand, even when you're training, like say you're training Muay Thai or you're training football, right? There's drills you do and you might just go through the motion, but not until you really understand what it's doing. And when you have that down, you're able to give it more of an effort. You're able to give it your all because it's like, yeah, I got my head beat in the other day because I didn't, you know what I mean? I wasn't taking this drill seriously the last 2-3 months, you know? And so, I think, that's a passion for mine. I realized, I really found my purpose in it all. Now, finding your purpose and making money is two totally different things, right? And so that's where I just been, almost every day, I'm coming up with a new idea, or I'm learning something new, or I'm finding a way to position a business to, get more traction and the reach. Because a lot of people like the gear. I always felt like I had a good fashion sense, so I'm like, oh, I could design this. I'm sure people will like. I might not have the whole city wearing it right now, but I know people would wear it. And so there's just a few different legs of D1 expectation from. You have the affiliate side. So let's say, for example, you wanted to be affiliate of D1 expectation. You just love the brand or whatever the case. You can earn money being an affiliate, just pushing the brand. People ask, where you get that? Oh, here's my link or my code. So that was something that I developed with D1 Expectation probably some months back. That was one of the first arms that I did of D1 Expectation, but also then just the services side of booking a call and being able to sit down with families. And then also I had 3 branches. And then I added on to it. But yeah, those were really like the main that I started out with was really trying to understand what people wanted and what drove parents to buy, and I feel like the highlight tape was definitely one of them. And even being like, I do like a spotlight where I might be speaking on camera and I might have the athlete's highlight playing above me or below me. And I'm just speaking, trying to build these kids up. They might have some weaknesses. I don't need to let, nobody else know your weaknesses. I'll let you know, but I'm just trying to build you up, trying to put your name out there, trying to say this guy needs to be D1. If he's not D1 right now, he needs to be D1. And the coaches need to be on the lookout for this guy. Just really trying to make sure I'm giving them that push and that nudge to really to get to where they're trying to go, And so I like to think of it as I'm like your biggest advocate in a way, And so outside of your, mom and dad, they probably love you to death. You know what I mean? I don't want to count. But yeah. But that's in a nutshell, basically D1 Expectation is basically my life story and me taking all the things that I either stumbled across or that I did really well at and combining it to help the younger generation, and so part of that money talk that's part of it, making sure that I could get the word out that, yeah, if you got 60 million, you better not. The most you can mess over is half of that. That's it. That's a stretch. But I'll just give you a couple mil. Go do whatever you want with that. But take this 30 million and go put it in a future providing asset. Like it's no other way you can do that. Because I don't want to hear you on the podcast talking about, I ain't have enough money to make it through. I know why you didn't have enough money to make it through. You know what I mean?
It is always so crazy, bro.
It is.
It is so crazy how people can blow through $100 million.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money, man.
That's a lot of money.
You mentioned 2 things. So you mentioned like 60 to 90 second clips. I've heard you talk about this, like really chopping it down and giving people something very digestible that also provides the information that they need to see.
Yeah.
They busy as fuck, chop it down, boom, 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 right? It's like, it's why podcast clips work. It's why comedians now are posting their like individual jokes and clips of their jokes, and clips of their shows, right? Because sadly, there's an attention span that needs to be met. And also the people that you're reaching out to, these coaches, they're busy. And they got a lot of kids reaching out.
Yeah.
And so it's something that I've heard you talk about that really makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
The second thing that you said that I think needs to be highlighted is that you're delivering a why to them.
Yeah.
The why, right? There's a lot of things that we go through life that we feel is the right thing to do, or maybe we feel this way in our head and maybe we just don't know why it is.
Yeah.
Like, why do I feel that way? And then to have somebody come in who's like that mentor that can kind of explain that why to you. Like, hey, this is why we're going to put this money over there.
Yeah.
It's not just like, hey, put that money over there.
Yeah.
No. This is why we're going to put this money over there. And this is how we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's super fucking important because that is everything, man. You have to. Like, I don't make a lot of money, but I got a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when I see people making 3, 4, 5 times my money, you know, I'm like, and they tell you they're broke. Yeah. I'm like, dog, how?
Yeah. Fact.
I make a fraction.
Yeah.
Of what you make. You would laugh at my salary.
Right.
But yet I got X amount of money here, X amount of money there. I got this money here. Like, how did you fumble this that hard?
Yeah.
Or like, what were you thinking about? Or why weren't you thinking about this? You know, like, why wasn't this a bigger priority to you?
Yeah.
And you just start to realize that people just, they don't always think about these things.
No, they don't.
They get wrapped up in their days, right? Just like you were saying earlier, where sometimes you feel like your path with God kind of then, you know, gets, you know, separates. And it's just because you get wrapped up in your day.
Yeah. Right.
And I think it's important for people to hear these things, right?
Oh,
like, there's going to be a time that, you know, we do this again. We have another episode and company's bigger and you have a different perspective, and then you can articulate things better because now you've lived it. Now you're a year into the business. Now you're 2 years into the business, right? And vice versa, right? I'm going to get better at this. Where, okay, now I have a better idea of the questions or a better idea of the flow, or maybe I can extrapolate even more. I can peel back even more layers of you and like really let people see what that is, right?
Yeah.
And that's the exciting part.
Yeah, it is.
Right? Like, I'm having all these conversations with people who they're just starting what they're doing, right? I got a buddy who's a stand-up comedian, shout out Andrew, who's now been doing comedy a little over, like right about a year, and making some really strong headway. I also had Ernest on here, Ernest Sr., who's a stand-up comedian who's on Kill Tony, Donna Lee, who's on Kill Tony as well. And so seeing these people who are like, they're just starting. Nobody really knows who they are. Yeah. They're just starting, but all of us are just starting at the same time. And I think the exciting part is that there's this opportunity that if all of us keep going left foot in front of the right foot, there's going to be a time 2 years from now, 3 years from now, where we sit down and we have these episodes again. And you're like, wow, do you remember episode 65 when you were on and like we were here and this, and now we're here and this, and you're going to be like, dude, you remember when my company was just 6 months old? It's like, it's exciting. It's also a lot of pressure.
Yeah, very.
Because someone's going to fall off.
Yeah, facts.
Right? Like, someone's going to stop.
Yeah.
Right? And all we can do is just fucking make sure it's not us. Like, make sure it's not yourself.
Facts.
You can't, I can't stop you from doing it. You can't stop me from doing it. X, Y, anybody who else has been on, right? And like, we just all have to help build each other up, promote each other, share each other's shit, fucking, and grow together. And then someone's going to stop. That's just the nature of it, right?
That's how it goes.
It's just going to be how it goes. But if we all can just keep going left foot in front of the right, dude, like, you know, why can't we be doing our own thing where, you know, one day we look back at this and we're like, fuck, dude. Yeah. That's where it was. Yeah. Now look at it, though. It's pretty cool.
I love doing that.
So,
I love doing that.
Thanks, dude. Yeah. I appreciate you for doing this.
Yeah, I appreciate you for having me, my guy, man. I was like, man, you let me know a couple months back. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready right now. You said I got to slide 35. I'm like, next year. I'm like, all right, pencil me in.
I know, dude. It's tough. It's tough because like there's pressure to it, right? Like in the sense of, man, dude, if I don't book a couple months out, there's gonna be a week where I'm like, oh shit, I don't got no one this weekend. And like, what if I can't find nobody? And then no episode can't come out on Monday, and then people forget about you, just like that, right? Like that. And so I'm trying not to get too crazy. Like the first time I did this, I booked it out for 6 months. I had all 6 months booked out. Right? This time I'm like, okay, that was crazy. Yeah. There needs to be some room for flexibility. So I'm like, I think 2 months right now is kind of the sweet spot. Yeah. So it's the 31st today. As we go into February, I'm going to start booking out April. So February and March already booked. And then now it's like, okay, April and May need to get booked. Starting next month, all right, start reaching out to people. Who do I want? And I think if I can stay in that cushion, I think that's good enough to where it's like most people kind of understand, like, all right, there has to be somewhat of a schedule.
Yeah.
And it's not too far out, because then I run into issues where it's like people forget.
Yeah.
Or people schedule something else on top of it because they don't think because it's not that serious for them.
Right.
And I get it. It's not that serious for them, right? But for me right now, it's like, no, I need somebody in the seat.
Yeah.
Someone has to be there.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate you.
I'm glad you thought of me, man.
Of course, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
I love what you're doing. I love football. I love helping people. So everything you're doing is everything that I'm trying to inspire to do in a different fashion, right? I want to help people just with their life, man.
Yeah,
there's things that we talked about today that people are like, I didn't even think about that shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Facts.
I hope that someone listens to this that's making more money that goes, you know what? Maybe I will take this amount of money and let me just go ahead and auto draft that into my stock account.
Yeah.
Let me just not even think about it. Let me just go ahead and put that on auto. It could be a real small amount. Just fucking do something.
Auto.
Just do something, dude.
It.
And so I love what you're doing. I love the swag. I'm going to pick me up some. I have to. Like, too fresh.
I appreciate you, bro.
I think you're doing a great job.
Yeah.
And keep fucking going.
Yeah.
Don't stop.
Can't stop.
Can't stop.
Won't stop.
I mean, dude, it's just it's inspiring, man.
Yeah.
I still have my day job.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I still have that level of comfort.
Yeah.
And to see you jump right into it. One day it was just boom, right there on my feed. Like I had already, I knew you were training the kids like on the side and doing your thing, right? But then there was just one day where it's like, oh, Kenny's on my shit, like in front of me, like boom, right here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then that's just how it's been since.
Yeah.
And I think that's great.
Yeah.
I think you said fuck it. And there's a little bit of that we all have to do.
Have to do it. Yeah.
And as you mentioned before, it's scary. And fuck yeah, it's scary, dude. People hearing your thoughts is a weird thing.
Yeah, it is.
Right? But we have to remember that the people around us who are really, truly around us and really, truly support you, they're not going to think anything different. Yeah. Right? And you got to have that reminder that the real ones will always be the real ones. Mm-hmm. And the fair weather fans will always be fair weather. It's just always
That's how it goes.
It's how it's going to be.
Yeah.
Fucking post and ghost.
Yeah.
And keep it moving.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
We're gonna do this shit again.
Yeah,
dude.
we're gonna do it again. We're gonna be in a different little spot, and I believe that we already planting the seed now. Where when I'm back on here, it's gonna be even D1 expectation gonna be just grown astronomically. You know, we're gonna claim it right here on this podcast. And so I just appreciate you having me, man. Enjoy working with you. We don't no longer work together, but you still my guy. So you ever need anything, you always can holler at me too, bro. I
appreciate you, dude.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for doing this. Tell everybody where they can find you, where they can buy the merch, where they can,
Yeah, absolutely. So if you go to d1expectation.com, you can see a little bit more about what we do, as well as shop.d1expectation.com, where you can get some merch, get your swag up, let D1 Expectation help you with that. And all of that good stuff, man. And so that's pretty much it. That's where you can find me at.
Fuck yeah. And Instagram, D1 Expectation?
Yeah, Instagram, D1 Expectation, as well as Facebook, D1 Expectation, and TikTok as well. I didn't want to make a TikTok, had to, I guess, for more reach. And so y'all definitely, if y'all stumble across D1 Expectation, give it a follow, give it a subscribe. As well, we're on YouTube, coming out with content fresh every week. And so it's definitely something that I would love for people to tune into. If you got young athletes, or if you got college athletes, making sure that they're getting ready for the next step in their lives, whatever that may look like. And so D1 Expectation is here to help.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yes,
Hell
sir.
Yeah, man.
Yes,
Look,
sir.
Life is short. Do what you want. Enjoy it. And this shit matters.
It matters.
It matters.
It matters big time.
Good job, bud.
Yes,
I appreciate you, man.
I'm saluting you as well. You doing your thing, bro.
Yeah, we trying.
Yeah, we doing it.
Nah, we doing it. Let's go.
Yes,
Woo!
sir.
All right, y'all.
Sir.
See you next week.
See you next week.
Oh.
Yes, sir. We did that, bro.